For the first time in 60 years, the Immortal Sect was recruiting disciples. The streets were packed with mortals aspiring to become immortals, and you will arrive on time and line up every day. But strangely, every time it's almost your turn, you even voluntarily give up your seat. The immortal responsible for maintaining order noticed my strange behavior. Doubts naturally arose. This young man, I saw you come for 3 days straight, but every day at this hour, they leave. I do not know what urgent matter this is. Even when the immortal asks directly, you dare not hide it. My grandfather is still bedridden at home. Every so often, I had to turn him over. I'm just afraid I'll be late going back. He was feeling uncomfortable. Listen carefully to the reason. The immortal was slightly sweaty, his hands slightly comforted. Then he chuckled softly and spoke. So that's how it is. Young man, if you play idle and play slowly, I can also test your spiritual roots. It's just that your spiritual power is rather mixed. It may cause some pain. Wen Yang was first delighted, but the smile quickly faded. Thank you, Immortal, for your kindness. But I heard that once a spiritual root is detected, they will be taken back to the Immortal Sect to cultivate. He might not even come back once in years. If I go to the Immortal Sect, after saying that, I buried my head very low. He turned and set off on his way home. Wouldn't you want to become one of those immortals who can fly through the heavens and travel the earth? But when I think of the person in bed who, besides you, is no one else is confused. Every second standing here feels like a betrayal. So you gave up. As soon as he got home, you skillfully helped Grandpa turn over. He then picked up the bowl of water. Carefully give him water. Gulp, gurgle, gulp. Grandpa finished drinking the water. He sighed with relief. You help him slowly lie down. But he suddenly spoke, alienating Suanzi. What has been detected? He asked casually. It's like they're afraid of putting pressure on you. You lied. One lie so she can stay and take care of him. Grandpa. Chongxian said, I don't have a collar root. The result. Grandpa's face instantly tightened. A sudden angry shout startled. A reckless person. How dare you lie to me? When I found you back then, use the last of my magic to probe your body. You clearly have a spirit. With that shout, it literally tore the bottom of his head off. It turned out he had once been a cultivator himself, because he secretly learned the ultimate Daoist techniques. He was beaten down to the cultivation rank. They fled all the way to Shen. He found a baby girl in the Sangyin Mountains. Over the past 10 years, his injuries grew worse and worse. His body decayed day by day. It's all thanks to you digging wild vegetables. It was only with meticulous care that he survived until today. He started coughing violently in anger. It took a lot of effort to recover, staring at you intently. Why don't you test it? Is someone bullying you? You were silent for a long time. Finally, he told the truth. If I test my spiritual root, he was taken away by the thief gate. Who will take care of you? When you say that, his gaze was unwaveringly resolute. It seems like an opportunity to be presented. In your eyes, they are worthless. Grandpa snorted coldly. Turn your head away. The grandfather and grandson were locked in a stalemate. The room was unusually silent. Finally, it was Grandpa who spoke first. The voice was tired. Xian, go cook. All right, you get up immediately. Go wash the wild vegetables in the cup tower. Watching you tinker with those wild vegetables again. Grandpa seemed completely bored. Xian, Grandpa's body is tough. If I don't eat something good, I probably won't be able to handle it. Holding that emerald fish chicken. Handle it. Your hand paused. That chicken. It's the food and vegetables you've saved for so long. I was hoping it would lay eggs. Save it for the winter. Now I'm eating. How to get through this winter? Eat chicken. Can your illness be cured? You asked, clinging to your last shred of hope. Grandpa nodded without hesitation. So, you no longer hesitate. With a swift move, the blade fell. 3 times the first move, 5 times the second is removed. That only 4 jin of emerald fish chicken was gone. Evening, you made a big pot of soup with chicken and wild vegetables. You carefully pick out every piece of plump chicken, feeding it to Grandpa bit by bit. Wait until Grandpa is full. You take out all the remaining chicken from the pot. Serve in a bowl. Planning to stay until tomorrow. Yourself, along with the broth at the bottom of the pot and the chopped wild vegetables. He muddled through a few bites. All of this, Grandpa quietly watched everything. He suddenly spoke. The voice was calm and terrifying. Xian, the remaining chicken. You should eat it. No, it is not allowed. You refuse without even thinking. I ate it. Grandpa, what about your illness? HMPH. Grandpa let out a hoarse laugh. Grandpa just lied to you. My illness simply won't get better. Moreover, I can feel it. He was on the verge of collapse. You haven't had time to react yet. He continued. I'm about to leave. Without that chicken, you won't survive this winter. He wanted to survive. You can only go to the drunken Daoist sect. I'm not leaving. You shouted at him. I'm going to stay and take care of you. On your tender face, it was stubbornness beyond his years. Silly child. Grandpa Daxian has arrived. He sighed. Help me. Undress. You follow his instructions. Layer by layer, he peeled back his worn-out clothes. On his chest, a thick book was tightly bound with cloth strips. Take it down. You take down that book. He opened it and took a look. Inside, it was completely blank. Not a single word. The cover is made of jade. It doesn't even have a book title. Grandpa, what is this? Grandpa's whole life. He fell because of this thing. He sighed with emotion. His tone was full of weariness. Remember to keep this book safe. Don't let anyone find out. Hi. He coughed violently again. After coughing, his gaze began to unfocus. The voice also became unpredictable. Grandpa is leaving. The road ahead. You go by yourself. Remember one sentence. And an innocent commoner, harboring certain guilt. I remembered. You hold back tears. He nodded vigorously. Finally, he struggled to focus his scattered gaze. He gave you a deep look. Grandpa is sending you a message. If one does not act for oneself, may heaven and earth destroy him. He spoke each word deliberately. He used the last of his strength. As soon as he finished speaking, he seemed finally free. He slowly closed his eyes. There was no more movement. Grandpa, you lie by his bedside. She cried her heart out all night. The next day, Dawn was breaking. You cut out 3 times before your grandfather's new grave, then carry all your belongings on your back. Left this home. You have to go for leisure. This was Grandpa's last wish. Today was the last day to recruit disciples at the door. You arrived early, but outside the mayor's courtyard, it was already packed with people. Brother Su, in the crowd. Xiaowan saw you. He was carrying his bag today too, surrounded by proud parents. Clearly, it has already passed the test. You walked over. Ask what kind of spiritual root you are. Xiaowan's chin lifted slightly. He replied with a face full of joy. Single attribute high-grade spiritual root. The emperor spoke first. I can become a disciple of that sect directly. Congratulations. You truly feel happy for him. Just then, the mayor's door opened. The door was opened yesterday. The one that will help you test is online. Mystical technique. He spotted you at a glance. A bit surprised. This is what you are. Reporting back to the login. You're a bit embarrassed. My grandfather no longer needs me to take care of him, so I wanted to give it a try. Come in. He didn't ask further. Let you enter the house directly. Inside the main hall, a man with wide-eyed eyes. He sat upright at the desk. He is the senior brother of Xuanji. Wu Chen. You step forward. He sat down cautiously. Put your hand up. The blindfolded man noticed your arrival. His voice was completely calm. You put your hand on the table. He extends his right hand to your wrist. A cool breath instantly seeped into your meridians. Outside, Xiaowan's parents were pushing him. Xiao Wan, go in and take a look. Let's see if Xian really has a spiritual root. Xiao Wan had just walked into the house. Wu Chen had already withdrawn his hand. Congratulations on your achievements. You possess spiritual roots. One can cultivate oneself. Hearing this, the heavy stone hanging in your heart has finally been lifted. Grandpa didn't lie to me. However, what he said next, but it was like a basin of ice water. It poured down from above your head. But unfortunately, your spiritual root is like the 5 elements striking spiritual root. The lowest quality. Future achievements. At most, he could build up 1 floor. Your face instantly turned pale. My aptitude. Is it really that bad? You muttered to yourself. It's not bad. He corrected him. The worst? You can only be a menial disciple. He served the sect for 50 years. It would take 50 years before he could leave. Are you willing? As long as he could cultivate immortality. That was enough. I am willing. You answer without hesitation. Alright, go out and wait. You bowed to him. He turned and walked out of the main hall. As soon as they entered the courtyard, you see Xiao Wan, just as I was about to speak to him. But she acted as if she had seen something strange. She suddenly shrank behind her parents. Xiaowan's mother pulled you aside. A fake smile hung on his face. Xian, look, you and Xiaowan are both online now, but you are a menial servant. Xiaowan is an inner disciple. This is destined to be a distinction between the Vanguard and the Ni family. Auntie, what do you mean? You have a faint sense of foreboding. She and her husband exchanged a glance. In the end, it was all in vain to compare the lines. Your grandfather once saved Grandpa Xiaowan. The 2 elders have arranged a marriage engagement for you. Now, look at how different your statuses are. This engagement, maybe we should just forget it. You feel a chill rushing from the soles of your feet straight up to your crown. You instinctively looked at Xiaowan, the girl you grew up with. Her eyes were actually full of disdain. That look chilled you to the bone. Fine. You don't say a word. He found the marriage contract he had treasured for many years out of his bundle. In front of all of them, with a swish, it was torn in half. Suzian, the flushed face of Xiao Wan, coldly warned you. I'll come back later. Don't mention our past. Did you hear? Ungrateful? And even threatened you in return. You look at her. He squeezed out a few words through clenched teeth, each word deliberately. You make me feel it's not true. After speaking, you turn around and leave. Grandpa is gone. The engagement was also ruined. You hold back your tears. Don't let him fall. You're afraid of being laughed at. Senior brother Xuanji witnessed everything from start to finish. He walked over, patted your shoulder. It's fine. The mixed bell root can also be cultivated. My name is Xuanji. He was also a menial disciple. You can call me senior brother. The one inside is called Wu Chen. Just like me. You were stunned. Unexpectedly, these 2 pioneer drum-stealing immortals. And it turns out he's just a menial servant. Greetings, senior brother Xuanji. You hurried to luggage. That's it. You followed them on the road, climbing mountains and splitting the path upward. Only then will you truly understand what a fish stickiness in the past means. An inner disciple like Xiao Wan. He sat comfortably on a millstone cart pulled by a giant demon beast. And you menial men. He could only follow behind the car, walking 800 li of mountain roads on foot on 2 legs. He hadn't even entered the mountain gate yet. The gap is already so blatant. You finally understand. Why did Xiao Wan's family want to break off the engagement? But compared to a grinding wheel, you envy that blindfolded senior brother Wu Chen even more. He stepped on a flying sword, flying slowly in the sky. That's exactly what you imagine an immortal looks like. After more than a month of trekking, you have finally arrived at the 9 Heavens Tao Gate. First, entering the mountain gate, inner disciples and outer disciples. They were immediately picked up by their respective elders, and you and another fellow townsman named Zhao Haoran. Xuanji then took him to the miscellaneous workers hall. The head of the miscellaneous workers hall will give it to each of you. He sent out a copy of the Gui Yuan formula, a single chi guide. So I gave you all to Manager Wang. Manager Wang led you into a courtyard. This is the woodshed, dedicated to helping you practice the order. The single top-tier disciple provides firewood. You 2 chop firewood. A piece of firewood. 100 jin per day. Choose for yourself. Manager Wang said coldly. Zhao Haoran didn't even think about it. I chose a piece of wood that looked more relaxed. So, you can only go chop wood. The first month, if you fail the mission, you won't be punished. 1 month later, if you fail to complete it, contribution points will be deducted. They were even punished. Do you understand? Got it. You and Zhao Haoran answer quickly. Night fell. You stay alone in the room. He hid that unprecious breath-inducing sheet under the bed. Then he took out the nameless item book from his pocket. For a month, this thing has always been tied to you. The jade cover was extremely hard. Your stomach has been worn raw. Grandpa told you to hide it well, but he never said what he was really good for. You haven't studied it much. Put him aside. He picked up the Gui Yuan technique and sat cross-legged. He began to try cultivation. You close your eyes, strive to feel the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. I want to absorb them into my body, but this is much harder than expected. You tried it all night. None of them made any progress. Early the next morning, there was a loud knock on the door. The door was opened by a burly man with a full beard. He threw you a hatchet. My name is Shemeng. From now on, come with me up the mountain to chop wood. All along the way, Shemeng pointed out which plants are poisonous, which fruits are edible. There wasn't even a single white mark on the trunk. Shemeng shook his head as he watched, impatiently pushing you away. Push! He pressed a mouthful of saliva into his palm. The movement rises fiercely. Suddenly, he swung his blade down. The broadsword was deeply embedded in the tree trunk. It almost broke. Use your knife. Scrape off the bark. Just this one. That's enough for you to work for 2 days. He gave the order. You struggled to scrape the bark. Movements are clumsy. Shemeng watched from the side, curling his lips. If you do this, you will never complete the quest in your lifetime. His eyes darted around. He looks at you with a forced smile, but his heart doesn't reach his eyes. How about this? Give me your chi summoning slip. From now on, just peel bark. I'll do the heavy work of chopping trees. Your heart skipped a beat. He instantly understood his intention. Senior brother Shemeng, no more chi guiding list. I can't cultivate anymore. Once I have cultivation, no need to trouble senior brother to chop down trees. You answered with focused intellect. Shemeng's face immediately darkened. I haven't said a word to you again. He began to hack the green gangwood frantically. The tremendous force makes your scalp tingle. Wood chips hit you like hail. He did it on purpose. Finally, they managed to gather enough firewood. On the way back, besides going uphill, he lends a hand. The rest of the journey is all yours. Pushing a heavy unicycle. Since you rejected him, his attitude toward you is nothing but torment. Back to the woodshed. You're so exhausted you're about to fall apart. You see Zhao Haoran still squatting in the courtyard, chopping wood. The work wasn't done yet. You walk over and want to help him. The moment he sees you, the grievances she'd been holding in all day finally erupted. She burst into tears. Zian, look at my hands. He threw away the axe. She opened her tender hands. Above, ordered mommy to be full of blisters from grinding and splashing. Some were still oozing golden liquid. You look at his hands. His heart was icy cold. It turns out, a piece of firewood is more torturous than chopping. This was the first day for the menial disciple. After finishing all the chores, you and Zhao Haoran are starving like two stray dogs. He plopped down at the dining table. Wang Guanxia personally took charge of the cooking. The table was filled with meats and vegetables, so fragrant it made both of you swallow your saliva uncontrollably. Before Master could speak, your chopsticks with Zhao Haoran have already turned into after images. Wolf down their food. He wished he could swallow the whole plate. I thought this would be a fierce food battle, but when you two looked up, the other senior brothers all spoke leisurely. Some even took a couple of bites and left. Haha, eat slowly. No one is fighting with you. Steward Wang was watching the way you two ate. A complicated smile appeared on his face. You certainly know why. They are monks. Not eating will be fine, but you and Zhao Haoran are not suitable. He hadn't even entered chi refining yet. That's all there is to it for a day. If you don't eat tomorrow, you won't even be able to lift your axe. After the meal, you rushed back to your room in a hurry. With a click, the door was locked from the inside. You can't wait to tear open your clothes. Untie the torn book tied to my chest. After a day, her chest was rubbed red and aching from the rubbing. Fiery and scorching. If it weren't for Grandpa's endless warnings before he left, you really want to throw this thing away. Next, you crawl under the bed again. He pulled out the box containing the chi summoning pill. Open a crack. Seeing that the pill was still there, you greedily took a deep breath of that rich medicine box. Only then did he reluctantly put it back. The plants that senior brother Meng taught today. Hurry up and write it down. You talk to yourself. Those things. Knowing him can save his life. If you don't know each other, you'll fall on the mountain. You grab your pen, but I couldn't find any paper. His gaze shifted. It landed on the nameless Dao scroll. Who cares? You turn to the first page. Carefully write down 3 words. Biluoteng. Just then, a strange scene unfolded. The handwriting you just wrote vanished instantly. Instead, lines of golden small characters appeared out of thin air. Ni crawled all over the page. Biluoteng. The lowest grade is poisonous herbs. The epidermis is highly toxic. Can treat skin ulcers and numbness. Detoxification methods. Crush yuan long herb and apply externally. Cultivation and identification. The blue skin is the starting point. The surface shows silver patterns. Over 1,000 years. Defan Street. The text lasts. There was even a clear picture. Image of the servant's Biluo vine. It was as if it was imprinted in a living book. Even the fuzz on the vines was clearly visible. You were stunned. His heart was pounding wildly, as if it might burst out of his throat. It took you a long time to recover. Meng and the minister. Then he opened it up again. The pages of the book were utterly empty. Still a blank sheet of paper. Even the words you just wrote have vanished without a trace. You don't believe it. Write it. Rubbing his eyes. Pick up the brush again. Write it down. Thorn fruit. In an instant, the text exploded again. Thorn fruit. Low-grade thorny spiritual plants. On the way, poison was found. The fruit is edible. Detoxification methods. Refining spiritual power. Fortune and misfortune among emerald bamboo and grass. Cultivation and identification. Fruit. Brilliant gold is the starting point. Red is the standard street. This time, you sure? You clutched this Dao scroll tightly to your chest. She trembled with excitement. This is no broken book. This is truly a treasure. In the days that followed, you still follow Shemeng up the mountain to chop wood. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. His cultivation hadn't improved at all. His strength had increased considerably. But I want to complete the task alone. Still dreaming. You can only keep following behind Shemeng, enduring his bullying. What makes you even more anxious is, back then, senior brother Xuanji clearly said so. Stay in a place with spiritual energy for half a month. The spiritual root can awaken. Counting from crossing the Sungyun Mountains, it's been a full 2 months now. Your body is still dead silence. Even Zhao Haoran, Who was with you? That 4-attribute spiritual root strike. He had already reached the first level. He can complete the task on his own now. And you are still a weakling. You can't wait any longer. So you grit your teeth. Once again, he found Senior Brother Xuanji from Shoitang. Senior Brother Xuanji, it's been 2 months. Why did Zhao Haran already abandon the first level? I still can't do it. You get straight to the point. There was a hint of impatience in his tone that even he hadn't noticed. Don't rush. Xuanji patted your shoulder. Zhao Haran has 4 spiritual roots. You're different. You possess a multi-element spiritual root with all 5 elements. It's normal to go slower. Senior brother, you grit your teeth. He asked the deepest desire in his heart. In this world, is there a way to improve spiritual root aptitude? Xuanji seems moved by your persistence. He sighed. Speak truthfully. Yes, it is said that in ancient times, some ancestors used a technique called the Huiyuan spirit technique to strengthen their spiritual roots, but it has long been lost. No one knew if it was true or not. Lost to the story. You seem to have reached the edge of the mysterious thread. He turned and left. To others, it's a legend. But for you, but that's not necessarily true. Back to the residence. You suddenly bounced out of bed. A thought explodes in your mind. This lousy book. No, since this scroll can reveal spiritual clarity, then can we show off our cultivation techniques? For example, the divine art of seeking alms. You immediately light the candle. His hands trembled. On the Dao scroll, you wrote the 4 characters of the begging divine technique. It worked, just as you expected. Golden text once again filled the pages. It was precisely the long-lost alms-seeking divine art. But this secretary, extremely perilous. The cultivation process requires the use of medicinal supplements, whether it's spiritual refining or medicinal supplements. All of these come with extremely high risks. Moreover, you must reach the first level of refining 7th to start. Concentration grass. Wash the water with flowers. Red sheep fruit. You quickly wrote down all the required elixirs. Then they wrote their names one by one on the scroll. They firmly engraved their appearances and growth in their minds. And then ascend the mountain. This must be noted. You press your resolve. Couldn't find it. Just exchange contribution points. 1 month later, your 5-element spiritual root has finally been softened by the spiritual energy. Finally, I can connect with your consciousness. But the process of refining spiritual power, it's pure torture for you. Zhao Haran restored the spiritual power in his entire dantian. It takes 3 hours, and you need a full 6 hours. However, this long ordeal also brought unexpected benefits. Because the spiritual energy washes over the body for twice as long as others, your flesh has become even stronger. This is what Grandpa meant by the fairness of heaven. You thought with a wry smile. The time has come. You can't wait to dig out that long-treasured anger egg from under the bed. Swallowed it in one gulp. The elixir melted instantly in his mouth. A violent energy explodes inside you. Like a breached dam. It fiercely resists your dantian and every part of your body. After the medicine's effect was exhausted, you feel as if your body has been tempered for years. Muscles are firm. His dantian also expanded several times over. A pill. At most, you can train hard for a year. Chi refining level 1. Arrive. You suddenly open your eyes, feeling the surging power within him. Ears are keen and eyes ring. An unprecedented sense of power makes you want to laugh out loud. Early the next morning, it was still dark. You pick up a hatchet. He rushed up the mountain alone. Today, you don't need anyone. You deliberately found an exceptionally thick green steel wood. Take a deep breath. He mobilized the newly formed spiritual power in his dantian. His power instantly multiplied dozens of times. You swung your blade fiercely. Gun. A loud crash. The chopping knife forcefully split through the hard bark. 1 inch in sight. It worked. Your heart is overjoyed. Draw the knife. Aimed at the blade from earlier. He infused spiritual power again. He slashed down a second blade with force. Gun. The hatchet was extended another half inch. But this bit of depth, it was still far from enough to cut down this giant tree. You raise your knife and charge up. When the third strike fell, physical exhaustion was somewhat exhausted. The blade tilted. A new opening was made beside it. Damn it. You can see clearly. But her body couldn't keep up. You're panting heavily. After a while, he finally continued. When the cut was more than 3 inches deep into the wood, you use all your strength to push down the tree. However, just then, a strong sense of weakness swept through his entire body. Your legs gave out. He almost knelt on the ground. At that moment, I saw it. The spiritual energy in his dantian was completely clean. Just a few cuts. Your cultivation will be drained dry. You sat down helplessly where you were. Begin meditating to recover. It took half a day to recover. Today's mission is probably hanging by a thread. The sun had just risen. Shemen carried his knife and strolled up the mountain. He passed by you. I saw you had already knocked down a green granite tree, but there wasn't the slightest surprise on his face. Instead, it was nothing but contempt. Yo, Zuzian, you wouldn't think you've reached the first level of practice. Then they would be strong. You don't need me anymore, right? He walks toward you step by step. I asked Manager Wang. You are the weakest 5-element spiritual root. Your destination is someone else's starting point. Did you know? Sensible. From now on, every month's contribution points will be given to me. What about me? And it wasn't free. Helping you cut down a tree every day. It saves you some effort. His tone was aggressive, but you can tell. He wasn't making things difficult. Instead, he was stating a fact as he saw it. In his view, giving you cultivation resources is just a waste. You slowly open your eyes, looking at him. In the most humble tone, he said the wildest thing. Thank you, Senior Brother Shemeng, for your kindness. I know I'm not quite right. However, I refuse to accept it. Shemeng was momentarily stunned. He immediately burst into laughter, laughing so hard he was leaning over. TCH, the new weakling. They are just as clueless as you. He points at you. He shook his head. All right. You go ahead. When you can't hold on any longer, come to me anytime. After speaking, he held a knife. Without looking back, he walked deep into the forest. You ignored him. From the nearby thorn fruit vines, he pulled a handful of fruit, stuffing the whole thing into his mouth. There was something in her stomach. The weakness began to ease a little. You stand up. He swung the hatchet again. At dusk, you're the one pulling a cart full of logs. Exhausted, I returned to the woodshed. I went alone today. Steward Wang saw you. A faint smile of relief appeared on his face. Yes, master. I've actually started practicing one layer. You replied with a smile. 120 jin. Not bad. Wang Guansha praised his integrity and weight. Patted your shoulder. Tomorrow, make a little less. No need to push yourself so hard. You know that well. You overdoing it. But you're a newcomer. Unlike Shemeng's old hands who try to play tricks. After the meal, you dove into the room again. Begin cultivation. Shemeng felt you wouldn't hold out much longer, but he was wrong. You haven't given up. Instead, I gradually became immersed in the feeling of feeling stronger every day. Chop firewood. For you, it also becomes a form of practice. Half a year. It passed in the blink of an eye. You need 6 hours to complete the task. Now, it can be easily finished in just 4 hours. His knife swinging technique became increasingly steady. His control over spiritual power became increasingly pure. Accumulated 500 contribution points. You can exchange for a chi channeling sheet or a mouth-washing flower. You hesitated. The chi summoning tablet can help you advance your cultivation, but just mouth-wash flowers. It was cultivating the transformation spirit technique, the key to improving spiritual roots. Simply put, give it your all. First, address the root cause. Make up your mind. Looking at it with a long eye. Improving the spiritual root is the true way. Arriving at the Variety Arts Hall. When it comes to it, it's still Xian technique and that fierce-eyed senior brother Wu Chen. You've broken through to the first level of chi refining. Xuanji was pleasantly surprised to see you. Your respectful behavior is a bow. Close the token on the gate. Senior brother, I want to spend 500 contribution points. Exchange for a top-grade spiritual herb. Wash the water with flowers. Xuanji nodded. For the first time ever, he personally took you to the treasure pavilion. But right after you left, a sword light roared as it arrived. It landed at the entrance of the Variety Arts Hall. A refinement for the peak of chi refining. Behind him was a delicate young girl holding tightly. Wu Chen, with his fierce eyes, immediately stood up. Is there something you need, senior brother? The girl jumped down from the airship. He wore a playful expression. He leaned in close to Wu Chen. It seemed to want to confirm whether he really couldn't see him. Although Wu Chen couldn't see it, but you could sense the smug energy of a petty man in his bones. But he didn't lose his temper. Do you still remember me? Lin Yuan Town. The girl spoke. Wu Chen recalled. You are Qin Wan. He was interested in this top-grade Lin Zhen who broke off your engagement on the spot. Impressive. That's right. Qin Wan nodded. Greetings, senior sister Qin Wan. Wu Chen bent down slightly. This defeat. Qin Wan's vanity instantly exploded. Once a lofty and aloof immortal, but now she wants to keep it in her own heart. This feeling is just too exhilarating. Unexempted from the rites. He lifted his head. He asked with the posture of a superior figure. Let me ask you something. Where is Su Ziyan? Reporting to senior sister. He was now a laborer in the woodshed. Wu Chen replied respectfully, expressionless, but inwardly, he was sneering. Just a mere second-floor artifact refining floor, and he dared to act tough in front of someone at the 9th level of artifact refining. If it weren't for the sect, a single slap could suppress him. I want to build a cave dwelling. Pick 2 people for me. Among them must be Su Ziyan. Got it? Qin Wan emphasized her tone. Got it. Wu Chen nodded immediately. After Qin Wan and senior brother Liu Yang finished explaining the location, after staggeringly holding the flying sword as he left, Xuanji happened to bring you back. Su Ziyan. Wait a moment. Wu Chen called out to you. What's wrong? Senior brother Wu Chen. You might be a bit puzzled. Someone specifically asked you to do the work. It lasts for 1 month. Reward, 500 contribution points. The work of building the cave dwelling. Finish ahead of schedule. Contribution points will be awarded accordingly. Wu Chen's face was icy. There was a hint of suppressed anger in his tone. Recently, the woodcutting task is on the side. Go back and tidy up. Come meet here tomorrow. By the way, call Zhao Haoran over. You don't dare ask too much. He could only agree respectfully. After leaving the miscellaneous hall, you head straight into the mountains. He found a calming herb he'd been watching for a long time. Back in the room, you crush all the spirit herbs, mixed with freshly exchanged Zishuhua and Kaiyang fruit. Eyes closed, he swallowed it all. It should be freshly eaten. A wave of unbearable bitterness explodes in your internal organs. You feel like throwing up, but it was already too late. The effects of the drug began to take effect. Your whole body is filled with energy flowing backward, uncontrollably collapsed to the ground, convulsing in convulsions. You cried out in pain. He covered his mouth tightly again, afraid someone would overhear. The medicinal power was like waves of red-hot molten iron, repeatedly washing over your limbs and bones. Every inch of skin, every bone is delivering a giant, bone-scraping power. You curl up on the ground, pull out an entire page, the only thing that supports you. You can clearly feel it. Above the Dantian, that originally diverse and overwhelming 5-element spiritual root, nourished by the medicinal power. Little by little, it becomes clear, pure. The next day, the Mao eclipse occurred. The medicinal effects were finally fully digested. You almost crawl up to sit up. He immediately activated the altar-seeking divine art. Spirit training. It was forcibly using spiritual power to condense magical power within the spiritual root. Then use magical power to replenish the spiritual root. It's like igniting a fire in your chest, burning from the inside out. Large beads of sweat roll down your forehead. Your lips turn pale from the pain. Teeth chatter. But you didn't stop. An hour later, the technique circulated 1 full cycle. You're like a dehydrated fish, panting heavily. You immediately feel the change. The speed at which spiritual energy is absorbed and condensed. It was twice as fast as before, although the current qualifications, and it was only on par with Zhao Haoran's 4 spiritual roots. But this already gives you hope. At dawn, a single message was given. You call Zhao Haoran. Arrived at the general hall on time. Follow me. Senior brother Wu Chen coldly threw out a sentence, sending out scattered splatters, soaring into the sky. You and Zhao Haoran could only run desperately on the ground. Only then did he barely keep up. Dozens of miles of road. You arrive at the foot of a cliff filled with spiritual energy. Wu Chen pointed at the 2 of you, who were panting heavily. He said to a figure figure beside YA. Senior sister Qin Wan. People I brought along. Alright, you may leave, the girl said coldly. You and Zhao Haoran were just gasping for breath. Looking up, he happened to be right against a delicate photo, but his face was full of arrogance. Small. Xiao Wan. You and your teacher shouted. Qin Wan standing before him, dressed in the luxurious attire of inner disciples. His cultivation was clearly at the second level of qi refining. Is Xiao Wan your name? Lu Yang, standing beside him, glared wide-eyed, rushing up to you in one swift stride. Smack. A crisp slap. You were slapped away. He crashed heavily to the ground. His right cheek instantly went numb. His mouth was full of meaning. My mind was buzzing. Call me senior sister. Please look down at you from above. He tossed a blueprint out of his storage pouch, and several chisel-type tools. According to the blueprint, dig me a cave dwelling for me. The deadline is 1 month. If you miss, or it wasn't finished, just wait to have your cultivation crippled and roll down the mountain. After speaking, he still nestled like a little bird against Lu Yanghuan. The two of them sped away with the splashing air. Fut, wait until they fly away. Only then did Zhao Haoran dare to stand up. Chao Qian, urging him to take a sip. This ungrateful guy. Back in town, you look like a dog meeting its owner. Why does he turn his back on people as soon as he arrives at the Daoist sect? You wipe away the traces at the corner of your mouth, slowly climbing up from the ground. His gaze was icy cold. He is now in Upper Lin Zhen. It was the disciple who held the highest position, and I am his fiancé, the weak fiancé who shatters Lin Zhen. Don't step on me. How could he show his dignity? You and Zhao Haoran pick up your tools. He frantically carved into the stone teeth. Hey, hey. The two brothers are so good, carrying the baton. You hum the mountain brother from your hometown. He vented all his humiliation and anger on this hard rock. At dusk, Qin Wan returned to the foot of the cliff. They found that the cliff had already been carved out with a huge hole, and you and Zhao Haoran are overusing their spiritual power. He was lying in the cave, sound asleep. Who told you to sleep inside? A sharp rebuke startled both of you awake. Greetings, senior sister Qin. Zhao Haoran hurriedly explained. Our spiritual power is exhausted. Planning to rest for 1 night and continue tomorrow. The progress definitely won't be delayed. This is the cave dwelling where I will cultivate in the future. Qin Wan looked utterly disgusted. Li Sheng rebuked him. People like you, lowly people, it also deserves to sleep inside. Get out here quickly. Zhao Haoran didn't dare argue, hurriedly pulling you along from the cave dwelling he had just carved out with his own hands. Like two stray dogs, he was kicked out. Qin Wan's two followers spilled over. Her anger finally subsided a bit. She pointed at your nose, a warning word by word. Then let me see you two curled up and sleeping inside. I'll have senior brother Lu Yang beat you all to a cripple. He left behind this harsh remark. Qin Wan finally left, satisfied. This ungrateful woman. Zhao Haoran looked at her back. He mouthed a curse. All were harsh words meant to suppress the anger. Wait until I stop. Fei gave him a lesson. Cursing is the only way to curse. But he didn't dare return to that cave. Outside, the weather was freezing cold. The wind swept across his face like a knife. If you two hadn't just given up on grooming now, his body is a bit stronger than average. He probably really had to move into this desolate wilderness. You only leaned on the stone for a short while. The cold wind blows so hard you can barely keep your eyes open. Forget it. You said to Zhao Haoran, hurry up and restore your spiritual power. Get to work. Finish early. Get out early. Zhao Haoran heard this. He immediately sat up straight. He blew warm air onto his hand. Alright, you two immediately sat cross-legged. Begin cultivation. An hour later, spiritual power recovered. You are bathed in the pale moonlight. Dress up the rubble from the cave outside. Daylight is better. Only then did he dare to continue walking inside, afraid of getting the size wrong and causing another round of tricks. He only sleeps 1 hour every day. It still has to be meditation and cultivation instead of sleeping. This is especially true for those of you who have just started cultivating qi. It was simply deadly. He endured for 7 days like that. You two are starving. Your faces are shocking. So exhausted that I could barely hold the tools in my hands. Take a break. I'll go find something to eat. You patted Zhao Haoran on the shoulder. Yang Liang staggered into the woods. Zhao Haoran sat in meditation on the spot, restoring strength. However, not long after you left, a beam of light descended. Lu Yang came again with Qin Wan. Seeing the cave dwelling with its initial shape, Qin Wan finally showed a hint of a smile on her face, but he scanned the area. His brows immediately furrowed. Zhao Haoran, where is Su Ziyan? Zhao Haoran quickly put down his tools, nodding and bowing as he ran over. Senior sister, Ziyan was like that. He went to look for wild fruits. I'll be back soon. Really? Qin Wan curled her lips. His face was full of misfortune. It was at that moment. You have a few wild fruits in your clothes. He hurried back. As soon as I saw the two of them, your face instantly darkened, but I still forced myself to keep my luggage under fire. Greetings, senior brothers and sisters. Qin Wan didn't even look at you. It's like when you are there. He turned around. He directly took out a voucher from his pocket. He said to Zhao Haoran, that's 1,000 contribution points. Originally, it was supposed to be split between the two of you. He deliberately paused. He glanced at you with a contemptuous look. But I only see you working alone. Another person? Sneaking and slipping away. So this 1,000 points. I'll give you everything. That was like a bucket of ice water. Pour from the top of your head down to the soles of your feet. Zhao Haoran was momentarily stunned. No one dared to argue. Bending over respectfully, he took over the 1,000 contribution points. Thank you, senior sister. He forced a flattering smile on his face. Clear all the rubble from the cave. You can just get lost. Jingwan ordered the last wall with a commanding tone. I'm going to invite a formation master soon. Move faster. After speaking, he met Lu Yang and flew away. From beginning to end, he didn't give you another look. Your labor, your hard work, he wiped it all over with just one sentence. sentence. A chill ran through your heart. He clenched his fists. He turned to leave. Xian, Grant, but Zhao Haoran caught up. One shot of those 1,000 contribution points. All stuffed into your hands. I still have 500 points of transmission that aren't useful. He scratched his head. He said honestly, if you want to exchange spirit herbs, just take them. Anyway, I don't need it. This guy, just now, he was still bowing and scraping, but now, they all stand at the forefront. A rush of heat rushes straight to your eyes. You suddenly turn around. He wiped his face hard with his sleeve. I don't want him to see it. You walk into the cave. She handed him the wild fruit she was holding. Then pick up the tools. Without saying a word, he began working. The two of them started together. The cave was quickly cleared clean. After checking that everything was fine, you will head straight for the mixed hall and face your fate. Wu Chen saw you. The attitude improved considerably. Clearly, he understood as well. Qin Wan wasn't helping you. It's humiliating you. They didn't make things difficult for you, did they? He asked. No. Contribution points were earned. You answer calmly. Not a single word of grievance was mentioned. That's good. Wu Chen nodded. Immediately after, you and Zhao Haoran went to the treasure pavilion. 1,000 contribution points. You don't hesitate. All were replaced with the spirit herbs needed to cultivate the alchemist divine dew. Just enough for one serving. On the way back, Zhao Haoran finally couldn't hold back anymore. Xian, what exactly are you buying this pile of grass for? You smiled mysteriously. I'll tell you later. Now that I told you, you wouldn't believe me. You patted him on the shoulder. He said seriously, here, 500 kilometers, I'll count the loan to you first. I'll definitely pay you back in the second half of the year. Hi, I told you, I don't need it. Zhao Haoran waved his hand. It's hard to tell if it was out of courtesy or genuine feeling, but you know in your heart, this favor. You remembered it. Back in the room, you look at the pile of spiritual herbs in front of you. Her heart was pounding. You're not afraid of pain. You're just afraid you won't be able to handle it. The pain was so intense that he lost consciousness. You can imagine Qingwan's contemptuous look. Thinking of Liu Yang's slap. The slap on your face burns with pain. You grit your teeth in an instant. Done. If you don't bring up this damn 5 elements mixed bell root, you'll be trampled underfoot for the rest of your life. You swallow the crushed bell medicine in one gulp. Then he bit down the pounding waste. Prepare to face that unbearably painful torment. A night of torment. Energy boils in the body like boiling water. Backflow. Several times, you feel like you can't hold on any longer. But whenever consciousness is about to blur, the faces of Qin Wan and Liu Yang will appear in your mind. You have to get through it. Otherwise, in this lifetime, never to rise again. At dawn, the last intense pain faded away like a tide. You're completely drained. But my body felt more relaxed than ever before. You immediately sit cross-legged and meditate. Circulate the alchemist divine art. This time, the speed of refining spiritual power had increased significantly. Spirit refining ended. When water arrives, the channel is formed. Your cultivation has directly broken through the bottleneck. He had reached the second level of qi refining. The quality of spiritual roots has also reached a new level. It's equivalent to a 3-attribute spiritual root, even because they possess all 5 elements. His cultivation speed was even faster than an ordinary 3-attribute spiritual root. 7 more times. You feel the power within you. A shocking light burst forth in his eyes. My spiritual root aptitude. He could surpass the so-called heavenly spiritual root to contribute points. You have to work even harder. At dawn, you just carried your hatchet and went into the mountains. Qi refining second level cultivation, plus the experience of the first half of the year. You chop a piece of green ridgewood now. It only takes 3 strikes. However, you're working hard. Shemeng appeared behind you without you noticing. He looks at you. His eyes were filled with shock and doubt. You kid. 1 5-element spiritual root strike. In just half a year, he broke through to the second level of Qi refining. He questioned. How did they do it? Hee. You've already thought of your excuse. A few days ago, I did a task. Earned some contribution. He switched to 2 Qi guidance slips. Shemeng glanced at you, half believing and half doubting. He didn't ask further. Go into the mountains and get into the fire yourself. You completed the task in just 1 morning. He immediately rushed to the general hall. Senior brother Xuanji, I finished today's tasks. Can you arrange something else for me? I want to earn more contribution points. Xuanji flipped through the quest book. The hilltop west of the woodshed. All the trees have been cut down. There is a shortage of people to plant new ones. Plant 1 to survive. 5 points of contribution. Are you going to do it or not? Dry. Xuanji gives you a map and 100 contribution points. Go to the herb garden to look for Mu Qingling saplings. Consider this money I borrowed from you. Remember to return later. Thank you, senior brother. You borrowed something. He rushed back to the woodshed in a hurry. Grab your wheelbarrow and head to the medicinal garden. The idle carriage moves slowly. You might as well hoist a 50 Jin unicycle directly on your shoulder, running at lightning speed. According to the map, you found the herb garden. Senior brother Mu, you shouted toward the thatched hut. A boy with dark skin stepped forward. It was none other than Master Mu Qing of Lingji. The moment he sees you, he immediately greeted him with a smile. What is it, senior brother? I'm here to buy 10 Qinggang saplings. Mu Qing's face instantly fell. 10 pieces. You can use it as a potted plant. First time doing it, and dare not ask for more. You keep smiling with me. Come in. He looked impatient. I'll throw you a hoe. That's all the business there is. Do it yourself. You don't mind. Pick up the hoe and start working immediately. Senior brother, how many contribution points can you earn in a month? You dig as you go. While chatting with him, it's not that easy to make money. Mu Qing sighed. Earning 1,000 a year is already pretty good, but still, if only he could get some side jobs. At least you can earn a bit more, and took on private work. Your heart stirred. Mu Qing saw through your meaning. I immediately perked up. How? What do you want to order? You dig up 10 saplings. He asked calmly. Called divine herb. Marrow cleansing flower. Eat sheep fruit. These few things, 1 plant of each type. How many contribution points do you need? 700. Mu Qing's eyes darted around. If you have a large volume, it can be cheaper. I want 7 points. Name your price. 4,000. Mu Qing gritted his teeth. It was at 100% price. It's much cheaper than buying at Jinbao Pavilion. Alright, you make the decision on the spot. It's settled then. You and Mu Qing have made an agreement. Holding the sapling, they excitedly climbed up the western hills. Meanwhile, inside the woodshed, Shemeng saw Zhao Haoran at a small bundle of firewood. He leaned in. Zhao Haoran, you and Su Ziyan from the last mission. How much did he actually earn? He. Brother Sha, a total of 1,000. I don't need it. He gave it all to him. Zhao Haoran spoke honestly. You're so generous, kid. Shemeng grabbed his neck, pretending to be angry. Su Ziyan's fragile spiritual root. Use your contribution points to buy the Qi guidance order. Now I'm already practicing the second layer. Zhao Haoran realized something was wrong. He retorted without thinking. Brother Sha, you're mistaken. Ziyan bought spiritual herbs. This is not a Qi guiding list. In an instant, Shemeng's expression changed. He gripped Zhao Haoran's head tightly. His tone became extremely serious. Say it again. Zhao Haoran was startled by him. I dare not lie. I saw him with my own eyes. He exchanged for a pile of spirit herbs. Shemeng listened carefully. His eyes flickered. Suddenly, he suddenly understood. One consumes the 5-element spiritual root. Even taking pills couldn't happen this quickly. Something's off. He suddenly pushed Zhao Haoran away. He rushed straight into your room. Meanwhile, you happen to be pulling a wheelbarrow down from the western hills. Ranzi, finished yet? You called out to Zhao Haoran. Zhao Haoran said nothing. Just pointed to your room in panic. His mouth opened and closed. You follow the direction he points to look. Discover your door wide open. Inside, the sound of rummaging through boxes and cabinets came from inside. Your expression changed. He immediately rushed over. Just in time. Shemeng came out of your room empty-handed. He glared at you fiercely. He said nothing. You look at the room that's been turned into a mess. He remained silent as well, but his fists were already white from clenching. The two stared at each other. The air was thick with the scent of gunpowder. After Shemeng left, you fetch a bucket to water the tree. Where are you going? Zhao Haoran came closer, watering the western hills. Zhao Haoran didn't hesitate. He also picked up a bucket and followed. On the road, you ask him, why did Shemeng come into my room? Zhao Haoran recounted what had just happened in 151. He now suspects that I have anonymity on me. You pour water on the saplings. He said coldly. I lied to him saying I had taken a Qi-inducing medication, but you say I bought spiritual herbs. With my aptitude, normal cultivation would never break through. So he was convinced I had some extraordinary opportunity. So how exactly did you break through? Zhao Haoran looked curious. He only shifted the blame onto Grandpa, who was just one step. If word got out of this situation, it will bring us disaster. You deliberately emphasized the word, us. Zhao Haoran's eyes lit up as he listened, looking at you with envy. So, can that secretary teach me? Of course you can. You nod. But you have to be like me, doing tasks desperately to earn contribution points in exchange for forest and grass. Alright, I'll count again with you in the future. Zhao Haoran made up his mind. In the days that followed, besides daily tasks, you too, all the time was spent on the western hills. However, the good times did not last. That day, you were chopping wood. Shemeng is here again. He picked up a stone. With a loud smack, it struck the knife you raised. Senior brother Shemeng, there is a matter to attend to. You ask, you kid, why did they lie to me by saying they bought a channeling order? He pressed him. Have you received some kind of opportunity? You can't be bothered with him. Keep chopping trees. Not saying anything, huh? He picked up another stone. Smash hard into your back. A sharp pain shot through him. You stop what you do. Without looking back, he walked deeper into the forest. Alright, you've got guts. Shemeng curses angrily behind you. Do you think this matter will just be over? Never would have expected. When you go to Shishan to plant trees in the afternoon, the scene before you instantly made you furious. The more than 100 surviving saplings you painstakingly planted, all were cut off at the base with knives. He lay sprawled on the ground, sprawled everywhere. Which shameless person is this? Is it really that ruthless? Zhao Haoran cursed furiously. Profanity erupted. And you? He was just gasping for breath, furious and shaking all over. Except for Shemeng. Who else could it be? A single skin is innocent, harboring certain guilt. Grandpa's words echo in your ears. Since you're so aggressive, don't blame me for being rude. You clench your fists. At that moment, reason was completely consumed by rage. Ranzi, you turn your head. The voice was as cold as a train. Give me your 500 contribution points. What are you doing? Should I buy more saplings? Zhao Haoran was startled by the red veins in your eyes. Give it to me. You just reach out your hand. Zhao Haoran didn't ask further. He pulled out the voucher from his pocket. You hold contribution points. He sprinted all the way to the treasure pavilion. Using all his fortune, he exchanged for a Qi summoning slip. Dusk, at the dining table, you keep your head down and eat your food, not uttering a single word. Shemeng looked at you like this. He chuckled smugly, and deliberately shouted loudly. Wang was in charge of affairs. My knife stopped. He swallowed the Qi induction pill. You have only one thought. Breakthrough. Then, settle accounts. The medicinal power of the pill explodes violently inside you. 3 days later, late at night, spiritual energy surges in your room. It created a small wave of air. You suddenly open your eyes. Golden light radiated in all directions. Breakthrough. Qi refining 3rd level. You feel the surging spiritual energy within your dantian. He stood up. It's time. He went to find Shemeng to settle the score. It was still dark. You just carry a hatchet. He pushed open Zhao Haoran's door. Gone. Zhao Haoran scrambled up, still sleepy-eyed. Seeing the chill in your eyes, without hesitation, he picked up his own firewood garment. I went up the mountain with you. At dawn, that is, early morning, you and Zhao Haran have long been lying in wait in the forest, waiting for that scruffy man named Shemeng to appear. Just as expected, he came pulling a wheelbarrow, skillfully digging through a pile of dead branches and leaves, revealing 50 jin of Qingdang wood hidden underneath. Today, I chopped another 150 jin. Tomorrow, you won't have to work anymore. He grinned smugly. He wiped his snot onto the back of his hand. Just then, Zhao Haran walked out as planned. Brother Shemeng was startled. He saw clearly that it was Zhao Haran. He was instantly annoyed. What are you doing here? I accompanied Zhu Ziyan up the mountain to chop wood. Zhao Haran pointed in the direction where you were hiding. Then he asked knowingly, hey, Brother how come you cut so much right after you arrived? What does it have to do with you? Shemeng's expression changed. He cursed. Clearly, he was guilty of being a thief. Now, you burst out of the jungle, gripped the hatchet tightly. With a few big strides, he flashed behind him. You raise your broadsword. It landed fiercely. Shemeng sensed the chill, but it was all too late. Asterisk. You swung your knife and slashed several times over in Shemeng. The blade infused with spiritual power split through the defense. They snorted and collapsed to the ground. His spiritual power surged out steadily and freely. His breath was swift and alert. Asterisk. This man who had been chopping wood for 30 years. In the end, it becomes like a block of wood. He was severely injured and collapsed on the spot. He was gone. Zhao Haran reached out to check Shemeng's breath. The voices were moving. HMPH. You are breathing heavily. Removed from the original place. Do you still remember the first day you went up the mountain? He also teaches you how to distinguish wildflowers and wild grass. You even thought he was a good person at the time. What a pity. What he did afterward. You've crossed your bottom line. Ziyan, this guy still has 1,000 contribution points. Zhao Haran took it from Shemeng's dirty pocket. He pulled out a voucher. You take it. When I repay you, you hand him the voucher. Hurry back. If something happens, I'll bear it all by myself. You say as you go, while dragging Shemeng's wreckage onto the wheelbarrow, planning to find a place to bury it. Ziyan, what did you say? Zhao Haran grew anxious. Grab you in one go. What does it mean for you to bear it alone? Are we brothers now? Seeing him like this, you feel a surge of satisfaction. He pointed to the marks on the ground. Then you stay here. Clean up this area. He washed the black marks on his body. To avoid suspicion, you spend the whole day planting trees in the western hills. I didn't go to the northern woods. Dinner at night. Manager Wang indeed asked, did you see Shemeng today? Several servants shook their heads. Manager Wang's gaze finally fell on you. Ziyan, what about you? Didn't see it. Today I went west to plant trees. You appear calm and unruffled, but inside, her ribs were pounding with tears. Could it be that Brother Sha overslept on the mountain? After dinner, I'll go look for it. Forget it. Manager Wang waved his hand. He also had a good impression of Shemeng. The sun had already set. The mountains are dangerous. If he wants to sleep, let him sleep. Getting eaten by demon beasts is what they deserve. You secretly breathe a sigh of relief. As long as he got past Manager Wang's test, the miscellaneous workers' hall basically wouldn't make a big fuss over the safety of a servant. However, that night, you simply couldn't sleep. As soon as he closed his eyes, in my dreams, I was full of Shemeng, shining with golden light, seeking secrets from you. You finally woke up. Cold sweat poured all over him, but just as he fell asleep, the nightmare returns. Even more frightening. You dreamed of senior brother Xuanji. His face was cold, whispering in your ear with skill. Shemeng was used with a firewood cleaver, knocked down with the technique of chopping wood. Only the woodcutter. Only then can you take it one after another. Precisely slash at the same spot. In my dreams, her face turned cold and twisted. He looked like a devil who could see through people's hearts. You wake up frightened again. Wipe the sweat from your forehead. She never dared to sleep again. The first time dealing with others. For you at 11 years old, the impact was overwhelming. But you know very well, if she doesn't get rid of it, she would definitely do something even more outrageous. You have no choice. Better to cultivate. You sit cross-legged. Only focus on cultivation. Only then can you temporarily forget your fear. The next day, at dawn, Steward Wang pushed open Shemeng's door. Empty. His expression changed. He immediately called all 9 of you servants to their feet. Shemeng was gone. Everyone stopped their mission today. Go into Beishan to search. If alive, one must see people. Defeat will come to the sea. You and Zhao Haran exchanged a glance. They tacitly headed toward the direction of yesterday's crime. It was to prevent others from getting close. You go back and forth around that area. If someone comes by, he immediately sent him away. A group of people searched the mountains all day, but in the end, nothing was found. Shemeng's woodcutter and wheelbarrow. They all vanished without a trace, waiting for you to come down the mountain. The situation escalated. Steward Wang had already invited 2 men from the miscellaneous workers' hall. See through your soul. How could I possibly have any grudge against senior brother Shemeng? You put on an innocent expression. He began to make half-truthful, half-false arguments. When I first arrived, it was senior brother Shemeng who took me up the mountain to chop firewood. He also taught me how to identify poisonous plants, how to counterattack and exert force. That's just how he is. Normally, it doesn't look very good, but after spending time together, still very good. Did you go into the mountains yesterday? Xuanji asked again. Got in, but I didn't go chop wood. I'll go to Shishan to plant trees. You take advantage of the situation to sell the disabled. All the trees I planted before were destroyed. Senior brother Xuanji lent me 100 contribution points. points. It might take a while before he could pay it back. Hearing this, the grave expression on Xuanji's face eased a little. It's cold now. Wait until spring arrives to see it again. The survival rate is higher. That senior brother Shemeng. Could something really have happened? You pretend to be curious and ask. Xuanji's answer made your heart sink. His life was shattered. It has already fallen. He continued. This man and the Hall Master were fellow townsmen. We must investigate thoroughly. Master, so there was such a connection. Your heart skipped a beat, but his face still showed concern. Could it be that he was eaten by some demon beast in the mountains? You should go back first. If you find anything, just let me know. I understand. You get up and leave. After returning, you immediately matched the conversation with Zhao Haoran. He was sure there was no obvious flaw. Only then did he feel a little relieved. That's it. This matter actually fizzled out. A year passed without anyone mentioning it again. Until the following spring. The trees in Qingdao in the north have all been cut down. You can move to the eastern woods. The result? Someone was in a remote corner. A unicycle that was not completely burned down was found, and an old machete. On the edge of the blade, Shemeng's name was clearly engraved. This old case, it was dug up again. However, except for you, no one knew where Shemeng's remains were. Even Zhao Haoran didn't know. The matter was quickly reported to the Outer Sect's punishment hall, but he didn't care at all about the safety of a servant. He kicked the ball back again. Inside the miscellaneous workers' hall, the Hall Master's fat and thin arm slammed down hard. With a boom, the power of the 9th level of Qi refining shattered the desk. He was so angry that his face was shaking with all his flesh. The Hall Master calmed his anger. Xuanji suggested, how about we go to the Treasure Pavilion realm and get the forgetting plate of law? You handle it. Xuanji quickly borrowed the magic disc. The Hall Master brought 2 pieces of knowledge. He returned to the place where the hatchet was found. He activated his spiritual power. After absorbing the lingering aura from the blade and the carriage, the pointer buzzed, directly targeting the western border. The 3 followed the pointer, all the way to Shishan. Here, you've already planted a plot with Zhao Haoran. Lush green hill trees. Entering the forest, the Hall Master's magic disc erupted with bursts of radiant energy. Right here. Dig for me. Xuanji dared not hesitate. He just dug the ground by hand. Not dug very deep. A piece of bone clinged to filth was exposed. Immediately after, under the surrounding trees, they discovered Shemeng's broken bones. The Hall Master was trembling with anger. The voice seemed squeezed out through clenched teeth. Who is responsible for this mountain? Meanwhile, after a year of hard work inside the woodshed, you and Zhao Haoran have gathered enough contribution points to buy 7 sets of spiritual herbs, but Zhao Haoran only used 1 portion. I never dare touch anything again, saying he would rather live an ordinary life, nor did he want to endure such unbearable torment anymore. I'll give you the rest. Now 6 portions of medicinal herbs are poison. You have completed 8 spirit trainings. Your 5-element spiritual root. Each one is comparable to a top-tier single attribute spiritual root. 5 types combined. Your cultivation speed is already comparable to a heavenly spiritual root. Just 1 more time of leveling. You can completely surpass the heavenly spiritual root. His cultivation naturally reached the early stage of Qi refining stage 4. Knock knock knock. The door was knocked. It's a mysterious technique. Come with me. He showed no expression, carrying you to the western hills in stillness. It was already dark. The rooftop on the mountain was pitch black. He takes you to a Aoshima tree, picked up a piece of broken bone, right in front of you. Why do you have to deal with Simon? Mysterious techniques are ominous. I don't understand what you mean. A light in your heart. But he was still stubbornly holding on. Stop pretending. Xuanji threw away the broken bones. This mountain is yours to lease. You're the only one who has intersected with Shemeng. If not you, then who else could it be? You absolutely refuse to admit it. It really wasn't me. You can deny it. Xuanji sneered coldly. But once the Hall Master finds out who you are, even if it's not you didn't end well either. You immediately sensed the hidden meaning in his words. Senior brother Xuanji, what does this mean? This afternoon, the Hall Master used the forgetfulness plate to find this place. He asked me who contracted this mountain ridge. I said I forgot. Your heart jolted. Now, he was flipping through the ledger at the odd jobs hall. Xuanji's tone sounded like an ultimatum to me. It won't be long before, and you'll be able to find out. Your age and cultivation are just right. If you can be hung up and remained in the inner gate, the Hall Master can't touch you. What is insight? It's like a human slaughter bag that sits alongside others in sword techniques. Xuanji said directly, and even the slightest carelessness occurred. He would be wounded by a single sword strike. Would you like to go? I am willing. You don't hesitate. Staying behind is bound to fall. Go. There was still a slim chance. This is a chain drop. Xuanji handed you a piece of paper. Departing from the inner gate of Qingxian Peak, find Master Lingshu. You take the drop. No words were spoken. He simply bowed deeply to him. Then he turned and disappeared into the night. Sigh. Xuanji watches your back. He sighed softly. Good luck. The next day, 50. You traveled 120 li overnight. Finally, they arrived under the whirlwind of clarity. Climbed to the top of the mountain. A grey-red courtyard appeared before his eyes. Crisp sword rings rang out from inside. You push the door open and enter. He saw a girl in a slippery outfit practicing swordsmanship. Her sword moves are agile, yet it hides a sharp edge. With each swing, sword lights flashed forth, wrapped in a chilling sword armor. Who? She discovered you. He spun around abruptly. A sword strike returned from afar. A sword aura of spiritual energy tore through the air, approaching you with a chill. Although the distance is far, the power had weakened considerably. But that mirror wind blew blows right on your face. It still hurts. I am the newcomer, and the sword is Su Xian. May I ask if Master Ling Shu is here? You quickly pulled out the drop order, afraid he would strike again. My master has invited you. He was practicing swordsmanship with me. The girl sheathed her sword, studying you. Take it. He threw the long sword in his hand to you. It was a low-grade spiritual artifact without a blade. How is your swordsmanship? He asked. I don't know how to wield a sword. Answer honestly. Master. The girl immediately looked up and called out toward the second floor. The insight you've gained is no good. He doesn't even know how to use a sword. How will you practice swordsmanship with me? An elderly man with white hair and beard walked out from the second floor. The vanguard drum sounded along the road. Haha, no harm. You can teach him. The girl pouted. Turn to you. My name is Yi Xiao, a top-grade spiritual root. 3 layers of refined artifacts. What about you? Su Xian. The 5 elements blend spiritual roots, refining the 4th floor of the ex-wife. Yi Xiao was stunned. Her cultivation was actually higher than his. He asked suspiciously, how old are you? 12 years old. As soon as these words were spoken, and it wasn't just Yi Xiao, even the Ling Shu immortal upstairs was shocked. Youth. How could a 5 elements mixed spiritual root possibly reach the 4th level of qi refining at your age? Orders are used more frequently. You made up a reason. Your cultivation is higher than mine. From now on, you'll have to let me order. Yi Xiao was a little scared. Xiao, Ling Shu Shinren was filial. You have a top-grade spiritual root. His cultivation speed was hundreds of times faster than his. He still needs to yield. Next, Yi Xiao began teaching you a basic sword technique called the leading wind sword technique. An hour later, you barely remember all the moves. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't grasp the medicinal power. Yi Xiao's patience quickly ran out. Move quickly. Keep your arms steady. Strike with ruthlessness. If you go wrong, the long-edged spiritual energy in his hand struck you with a snap. After a day, you can easily pick up a piece of chopsticks all over. If you hadn't trained for layers of solid physical strength, he had already wounded her. Evening, you dragged your battered body back to the room, cross-legged to heal wounds. If this continues, sooner or later, you'll be hurt by him. I wonder if the Nameless Dao Scroll is effective against sword techniques. With a thought, he took the Nameless Dao Scroll from his chest. Use a brush to write the characters for Ling Feng Sword Technique 4 on the lower page. Commanding the Wind Sword Technique, a low-grade sword technique. One must comprehend the bloodstained sword shadow. Only then can this sword technique be fully unleashed. The next second, on the pages of the book appeared a sword manual with both text and illustrations. When you look at the figure in the book striking a sword move, the figure suddenly came to life. In the book, he thoroughly demonstrated the entire Ling Feng sword technique. The drill was complete. That figure transformed into a crystal clear snowflake, flying out from the book. It goes straight into your forehead. You close your eyes. You can clearly feel it. A perfect figure is in your sea of corpses. He endlessly practiced the leading wind sword technique. The long sword in his hand was cold and sharp. Every move and every action contained a chilling sword intent. It is a kind of willpower, a will that can be terrifying. You instantly become immersed. As the figures in the stone sea continue to rehearse, your comprehension of swordsmanship is rapidly improving. The next day, you got up early. Holding a long sword, you waited for Yi Xiao in the courtyard. You're quite diligent. Yi Xiao rubbed her sleepy eyes and walked out. Senior sister, the sword technique you taught yesterday. I have grasped it. Really? Practice it once. Let me see. Yi Xiao looked unhappy. You grip the hilt. In an instant, a bone-chilling chill radiates from you. The surrounding temperature dropped sharply. Take your steps lightly. His figure fluttered like a ghost. Several gentle sword lights slid out from his long sword. Wisps of frost swirled around the blade. Like ice and mist, you actually comprehended the frost sword intent overnight. Yi Xiao jumped straight down from the second floor in shock. Interrupted you. I spent the whole night practicing in my head. You'll understand. Go spar with me for a few moves. Yi Xiao was unconvinced. He also picked up a long sword. His figure flashed like lightning, suddenly charging at you. Your eyes flashed. Step back. With a wave of his arm, a streak of frost sword energy shot out. It collided with his sword light with a thunderous crash. Ice crab flying sword. Yi Xiao's sword moves were relentless. Her figure darted through the wind and snow. Sword auras crisscrossed and intertwined, sweeping toward you. One of the sword auras grazed your left shoulder, although the skin wasn't broken. But that chill instantly invaded. Leave your left arm numb. You take a deep breath. He poured all his spiritual power into the sword. He unleashed the final move of the Ling Feng sword technique. Double smooth mirror finish. A massive, chilling white sword aura swept out. It clashed head-on with Yi Xiao's attack. Boom. A loud explosion erupted in the courtyard. You rely on higher cultivation. A single sword broke through her defenses. Yi Xiao's expression changed dramatically, but it was already too late to escape. The sword energy brushed past her clothes. A faint scar was left on her shoulder. She drew her gun and took a few steps back, looking at you. His eyes were full of unwillingness and shock. How dare you hurt me? She was furious and humiliated, staring at you fiercely. Your left shoulder was also struck by Yi Xiao's sword energy, suffered unclear internal injuries. But he was even worse. Tonight, the splendid clothes were already stained red. A clear sword mark appeared on his shoulder. Your heart skipped a beat. I didn't mean to. Seeing how scared you are, Yi Xiao's eyes darted around. Instead, he smiled. If my master finds out you hurt me, guess how he would treat you? You are silent. This is clearly a threat to you. I can leave him alone. Yi Xiao leaned in close to you. Lower your voice. But you have to promise me one thing. What else can you do? She almost presses close to your ear. His breath was as deep as blue. But what he said was icy and bone-chilling. No longer allowed to wear sword armor in the future, especially when my master was here. You have to pretend to be very dumb. This woman's thoughts. you get it right away. She was afraid that your swordsmanship talent would be noticed by Ling Shu. He stole her favor. Yes, you can. You agree immediately. But then the topic shifted. However, you have to promise me one thing too. Tell me about it. Yi Shiyao's gaze seemed to hold a knife. Very annoying. Let's face off in the future. You are not allowed to use the sword armor either, and you must not hurt me. Yi Shiyao burst out laughing, his face full of mockery. You're a grown man. Afraid I'll hurt you. However, he still nodded. It counted as agreement. After speaking, he sheathed his sword. He turned and returned to his room to heal. He took off his clothes and looked at the sword marks on his shoulder. Grit your teeth tightly. His eyes were almost spitting fire. Su Ziyan, just you wait. He lost out in cultivation, but he had a high-grade spiritual root. His cultivation speed is hundreds of times faster than yours. He thought, once he breaks through to the 4th level of chi refining, you must make it look good. After forging swords, you're also working hard to cultivate. His cultivation speed was advancing by leaps and bounds. In just 1 month, he had reached the peak of chi refining level 4. The bottleneck had long been loosened. Right now, you're suppressing your cultivation, afraid to break through, afraid the secret would be exposed. Just then, Yi Shiao had recovered from his injuries. A voice came from outside the door. Su Ziyan came out to forge swords. Today I'll teach you a mid-grade sword technique, the closed wave sword bureau. Take a close look. He rehearsed it once. The sword gleamed brightly. Hidden sharpness. For you now. Mastering sword moves is effortless. You are calculating. When I return at night, I will use the nameless Dao to comprehend it out of fatigue. I suggest you get it right away. After sparring a few moves with him. At night markets, you also have to pull out a bag of contribution points from your Chinkuan pouch. Master gave it to you. 500 points. So many. You finally have a smile on your face. 500 contribution points per month. This day was much more than the walls of the miscellaneous workers' hall. Get the money. You immediately took half a day off. He headed straight for the outer gate treasure gate. Junior brother, what would you like to order? A servant in charge of reception glanced sideways. Is there a secret method to hide one's cultivation? The servant heard this. He laughed out loud. His tone was full of disdain. You're just a menial helper, and hiding his cultivation. Hidden Western arts. The secret laws of the Xia dynasty. 400 contribution points. He assumed you were just asking casually. They simply can't afford it. How to sell Qiankuan bags. You ask again. 500 for the summer grade. 1,000 for mid-grade products. Let's get a summer item. You place your newly acquired contribution points on the counter. Back to the residence. You immediately stuff the nameless Dao scroll tied to your chest into your Qiankuan pouch. Next, you bring paper and pen. On the Dao scroll, you wrote down the Tibetan Western techniques and the Azure Wave sword formula. Light and shadow flickered. The secret techniques and sword techniques instantly merge in your mind. He developed the art of Western Tibet. I can finally break through with peace of mind. With a thought, no more suppression. The spiritual power in his dantian surged forth instantly. Waves of energy were formed. A purer spiritual power condenses within you. Power perception. His vitality surged dramatically. Early stage of chi refining level 5. You quickly practice Tibetan Western techniques. He camouflaged his external aura steadily on the 4th level of chi refining. The next day, your sparring with Yi Shiao has started again. No more use of sword shadows, as long as it doesn't hurt the other person. Your sparring is like kids playing house. The result, Master Ling Shu came back to take a look. His face instantly darkened. Shiao, in 2 months, it'll be the day for you to spar with your classmates, elders, and disciples. He faced Yi Shiao, but between the lines, it was full of warnings. Keep practicing like this. You're about to lose all my face. Yi Shiao lowered her head, like a child who made mistakes. Immediately after, he took out a piece of armor from the Heaven and Earth agent and tossed it to you. This is the selection ceremony. A low-grade spiritual artifact. I'm going to use the sword armor. I'll try not to hurt you. You understand his difficulties. You can only wear armor and tank it head-on. The result was, after a day, you covered in hidden wounds. His Hanshi sword robe, specifically injuring the internal organs. Night fell. Using advice can hurt you. This is the true body of wine training. A top-grade secret technique. It can enhance the physical strength. He left a manual by your bedside. Practice well. It will be less likely to suffer internal injuries in the future. Please do not let me, the world-honored one, find out. He gave you this treasure, not a gesture of goodwill. They want to turn you into a more durable human punching bag. Got it. You accept the secret technique. Once he left, you immediately begin cultivating, relying on secret techniques to operate. Spiritual energy surged within him. His flesh and meridians endured intense impact. One must continuously guide the essence of life to domesticate it, but to become stronger, you grit your teeth and endure. 2 months later, the day for Lin Shu and Tong to select 2 elders true disciples to spar had arrived. The location is Qingwanfeng. Lin Shu set up the banquet. Guang Yao was among his fellow disciples. Among them was Xiao Ya's celestial body. He also brought along his beloved disciple, Qin Wan. You are a swordsman. He could only follow behind Yi Shiyao to serve. You look at those geniuses on stage, treasured by the elders. A cold sneer ran through his heart. Too weak. My beloved disciple has only been a disciple for 2 years. Let him practice a set of sword techniques. How is the annotation for everyone? Master Sang Chung spoke modestly. In reality, they were just here to cause trouble. Qin Wan received the signal. He leapt onto the high platform, after bowing, his gaze fixed on you. Senior Sister Xia, may I borrow your sword? She's been eyeing you for a long time. Fight Yi Shiyao. She wasn't sure, but stepping on a sword from a menial servant background is a sure win. Yi Shiyao glanced at you. He glanced at Qin Wan again. Asked, you sure? If senior sister Xia is unwilling, then the junior sister had no choice but to boldly seek advice from the world. Qin Wan wore a malicious smile on her face, full of confidence. Yi Xiao was so angry. Drawing his sword, he was about to step onto the stage, but you held me down in one go. I want to challenge my family sword master. He had to get past me first. You walk up to the high platform with your sword. Wait for this moment. Waited too long. Originally, you wanted to get through these 3 years peacefully, but it was Qin Wan, the woman who once humiliated you in every possible way, who came to your doorstep. You can't swallow this humiliation. Su Xian. Qin Wan saw you come up on stage. He smiled even brighter. I hit hard. There have already been 10 sword moves lost to me. You sure? You don't hesitate. Take out the armor hanging coat that Yeshakil gave you from your Chinkuan pouch. He threw it directly in front of him. I also hit the mark with my hand. You'd better wear it. Your tone is full of disdain. You dare provoke me. Qin Wan instantly exploded. Master Sangqiang on stage was also furious. Xiao Wan, there is no need to remain in the garrison. With his master backing him up. Qin Wan's sword move. You follow and fight back. The two swords collided. Spiritual power erupted. Her sword momentum was too weak. You were directly shaken back by your sword energy, forcing your bones back to the bone. 1 round. The difference in rank was immediately determined. How is that possible? You're actually at the 6th level of chi refining. Qin Wan looked utterly incredulous. If you think my cultivation is bullying you, you spoke calmly. I can fight you while suppressing my cultivation. As soon as you finished speaking, his aura instantly suppressed the 4th level chi refining cultivator at the same level as him. Qin Wan was furious. He charged with his sword again. He was using his signature sword technique, the Azure and Red sword technique, commanding the wind sword technique. A cold gleam appeared. You leap high. A sword slashed straight down. The icy sword energy instantly caused the surrounding temperature to drop sharply. Gun. The frost exploded across the sky. The Qinghong sword was easily crushed. Qin Wan brought her sword and body. You blasted the tree staff away with a single sword strike. He rolled off the Yang stage directly. You sheath your sword and stand firm. The voice was not loud, but it spread throughout the venue. With your level of strength, and he deserves to challenge my family's sword master. Go back and practice for a few more decades. Qin Wan let out a digging. He was so furious on the spot that he vomited a mouthful of golden light. The whole room erupted in an uproar. All the elders on stage were stunned. A menial swordsman, suppressing cultivation, using the lowest grade Lingfeng sword technique, it crushed the high grade Qinghong sword technique of a top grade Lingzhen genius. Senior brother, your Qingxian wind really is full of hidden dragons. Master Sangqiang gave a compliment, forcing a smile without a smile. He flew down from the stage to check on Qin Wan's injuries. Master, he was clearly just a mixed 5 elements root. How could it be so strong? Qin Wan was still radiating golden light. What did you say? He was the 5 element spiritual root strike. Master Sangqiang was greatly shocked. He immediately stood up, shouting loudly at you. Youth, may I test your spiritual root? Before you could answer, Master Ling Xiu suddenly stood up, cut him off directly. The firmament, you were the one who got your apprentice on stage. How? Losing and not convinced. Senior brother Tierney misunderstood. I just want to. What do you want to do? Trying to make a move against my people. I thought I couldn't tell. Master Ling Xiu refused to yield an inch. He saw your extraordinary qualities. There's absolutely no way I'll let you be taken away by someone else. Xiao, it's your turn to play. Lin Xiu changed the subject directly. Yi Xiao braced himself and stepped onto the stage. His opponent, Wei Hong, the disciple of the selected elder. After witnessing your strength, her legs were already weak from fear. He gave up after just a few rounds. Yi Xiao won, but he couldn't feel happy at all. The spotlight, all of it was stolen by your insight. He returned to his seat, glaring at you fiercely. He said in a low voice, so you've been hiding your cultivation all along. No wonder I can't beat you. You misunderstood. You replied calmly. What does that mean? I've always been sparring with you while suppressing my cultivation. Same realm. You still are no match for me. Yi Xiao was so speechless by you that she couldn't speak. All I can do is give you a sidelong look. Turn your head. As soon as the banquet ended, Ling Xiu immediately called you to his room. He uses his magical power to roam and probe inside you. The more they investigated, the more alarmed they became. You really do have a 5 element spiritual root, but why is it so pure? This level of transparency, it was already comparable to a top grade spiritual root. Who taught you your swordsmanship? Senior sister Yi Xiao, you have comprehended the frost sword intent. How long did it take? One day, Ling Xiu's gaze calmed. Suddenly, he spoke. Xiao, come in. Yi Xiao outside the door was startled. He could only obediently walk in. What he said was true. Ling Xiu questioned him. Yes. Yi Xiao picked at her fingers. But I usually see you two in love. He had never used sword intent. And what is this again? You know, your chance to turn things around has come. It was senior sister Yi Xiao who said so. I see that his talent is too high. Afraid of being chosen by you. Don't let me reveal myself before you. You told me in detail how he coerced you. This matter is indeed true. Ling Xiu's expression darkened. Yi Xiao burst into tears with a loud sound. Master, he was the one who injured me first. But Ling Xiu completely ignored him. He slowly crouched down. Gaze into your eyes. His eyes burned with anticipation. I am the chief elder of King Suan Feng. List cultivation. Are you willing to become my disciple? You know very well. If you disagree, will perish. A genius laborer. He would never let it fall into someone else's hands. Of course, I am willing. You flatter with your mouth. But in her heart, she remembered the disdainful look he gave her back then. I'm just a menial servant. I apprenticed myself to you. Would it not disgrace your reputation? Don't worry. Ling Xiu laughed heartily. As long as you become my disciple, you are a true disciple. Those inner disciples saw you. They all have to call him senior brother. Disciple Su Xian. Greetings to master. You immediately feel that way. Alright. Ling Xiu was greatly pleased. Xiao, hurry up and come meet your senior brother. Master, I first apprenticed under him. Why is he a senior brother? Yi Xiao pouted in protest. He's older than you. His cultivation is higher than yours. Do you think you're worthy of being his senior sister? Ling Xiu's old face darkened. Yi Xiao started crying loudly again, feeling wronged. Ling Shu gave you a mid-grade Xinkuan pouch. This was used as a ceremony to apprentice. Then he handed his token to Yi Shiyao. Take your senior brother to register for entry. All along the way, Yi Shiyao was cursing under his breath. Well done, Zhu Ziyan, a grown man. Senior brother Yi Shiyao's face instantly fell upon hearing this, and she quickly grabbed your foot coquettishly, saying, "Don't be angry, senior brother. He actually admires you deeply." Seeing his attitude, you just feel disgusted. I still prefer your previous arrogant demeanor. After completing the procedures, you return to your room and open the apprenticeship gift from the world-honored one, offering 888 snacks and a high-grade Jiushui sword, a high-grade sword of determination, a phantom sword, and 10 shadow energy manuals. Immediately take out the nameless item and begin comprehending the new sword techniques. After one night, you had already comprehended a tenth of the sword technique. The next morning, at dawn, you went straight to knock on Yi Shiyao's door. Rush! Because I'm your senior brother, you just push open the door. She grabbed his collar and dragged him out. Today, master is not here. I hit hard. HMPH. Yi Shiyao burst into tears. But you don't indulge him at all. Gun. You suppress your cultivation. Only sword techniques are used. He was also beaten so badly that he was completely powerless to fight back. Suddenly, he was completely exhausted. You can't keep your sword in time. A sword aura of spiritual power. It pierced straight into his chest. So tough. You frown. He knocked him to the ground in his meeting room. You don't want master to misunderstand. After thinking for a moment, he immediately set out for the Inner Sect's treasure pavilion. He used snacks to buy healing pills and the spirit herbs needed for the arm's divine duke. Back to Qing Whirlwind. You feed Yi Shiyao some pills first. Help him heal his wounds. Wait until his injuries heal. You just return to your own room and lock the door tightly. You crush the spirit herbs you just bought. Swallowed it in one gulp. The excruciating pain of skin scraping and scraping struck again. Your hands tremble, repeatedly circulating the arm's divine cup. Finally, your 5-element spiritual root. He reached the coveted level of the heavenly spiritual root. His cultivation speed would be 5 times faster than an ordinary heavenly spiritual root. Just then, Ling Shu's voice came from the courtyard. Ziyan, Shiyao, the master has returned. You and Yi Shiyao immediately went out to greet him. But as soon as Yi Shiyao saw her master, immediately pointing at you, he started crying loudly. Master, senior brother bullied me while you were away. Crying all day long. What does it look like? Your master, Master Ling Shu, snorted heavily. Clearly, he didn't take Yi Shiyao's tears seriously. Immediately after, he shouted to you, Ziyan, quickly comfort your junior sister. After speaking, he carried the fire-striped tiger into the kitchen by himself. The meat of Xuanjie demon beasts is not easy to handle. He had to take matters into his own hands. As soon as master left, you took a few steps closer to Yi Shiyao. The anger on his face was undisguised. His gaze pierced like a knife. Yi Shiyao was so intimidated by your presence that she pulled her back and showed her legs. Be good, don't cry. You have a face and open your mouth. He flashed a grin that was nothing short of menacing. Senior brother will feel sorry for you. That smile. Yi Shiyao was completely scared out of her wits. He screamed. He escaped back to his room. Soon, it was noon. At the dining table, master set down the fire-patterned tiger's heart. Put it directly on your plate. Ziyan, you're physically weak. Eat more of this. Supplementing the sauce. Next to her, Yi Shiyao's mouth was so small it was almost pouting to the sky. Master, put down your chopsticks. He pleaded. I want to go to the miscellaneous hall and get an arrow. Yes, you can. Master Lin Shu answered without hesitation. Take my token and go. Directly transfer people. Thank you, master. Upon hearing this, Yi Shiyao couldn't stop laughing. That's great. From now on, I won't have to date you, this monster, again. Master Lin Shu turned to him. The sect's grand exam was about to begin. Last year you were at the bottom. This time, he must make it into the top 20. The night market should feel the long-lost concern. He immediately patted his chest and promised, Master, rest assured, I will definitely make it into the top 20. Master forced a smile. No more words. After the meal, you hold the elder's token. He charged straight at the hall. The true value is none other than the Hall Master 18. The moment he saw your disciple's attire and the cultivation of the 6th level of artifact refining, immediately shortened by half a head, he nodded and bowed as he approached. I wonder if this senior brother is honorably here. Any orders? He never expected it. The man before me, it was none other than Zhu Ziyan, the enemy he had been desperately searching for. You're too lazy to waste words. He immediately revealed his token. Zhao Haoren from the woodshed. I'm going to transfer him to be my surveillance. Shi's father was momentarily stunned. Hurry and open the roster. That's how I found the name Zhao Haoren. Senior brother, please have a seat. Drinking tea. He respectfully brews tea for you. I'll go bring her to you right away. After speaking, he rose to see him. It turned into a streak of light and rushed toward the woodshed. After 10 breaths, woodshed, Shi's father descended from the sky. Who is Zhao Haoren? He immediately congratulated him. Zhao Haoren was so scared he dropped his axe, kneeling with a rolling face. Hall Master, what mistake did I make? Treat it as a matter of extremely high risk. His best brother, Zhu Ziyan, was just like that. Enough talk. It's not that you made a mistake. It was that senior specifically called you out. Tenth uncle shouted impatiently. Hall Master, I don't want to take any risks. Zhao Haoren clung to Shabia's leg, crying and sniffling. I'm warning you, that senior has no patience to wait for you. If you upset him, you'll fall today. At that moment, the interviewer was Manager Wang, who walked over. He pulled up Zhao Haoren, who was throwing a tantrum and rolling around. We can't afford to mess with the big shots of the Inner Sect. Go ahead, maybe it's a good thing. Manager Wang, please save me. Zhu Ziyan left. She grabbed his shoulder. He was carried to the sky, flying towards Cha Tang. Senior brother, people bring you here. 18 is like throwing away something useless. Throw Zhao Haoran at your feet. Zhao Haoran was so terrified he nearly lost his soul. He grabbed your thigh and started crying. Please spare me, senior. I will work like a beast of burden for you. Just don't let me see it firsthand. You shake your head. He spoke helplessly. Ranzi, a real man. Leaving the night startled. No tears flow. This title, this voice. Zhao Haoran stiffened all over. He suddenly looked up. I saw your face clearly. Su Zian. How did you go? You're still alive. Zhao Haoran's eyes nearly popped out. It's a long story. Help him up. He explained simply. I was chosen by Master Ling Shu. He was accepted as a true disciple. Zhao Haoran touched the luxurious silk on your body. Shocked. He was speechless. It took him a long time to squeeze out 3 words. Amazing. From now on, you are nominally my knowledge. In fact, just focus on cultivating with peace of mind. No one dares to touch you. You patted him on the shoulder. Just then, a cold voice interrupted. Your name is Su Zian. It was Shabi. He stared at you intently. His expression was off. It's me. There is a matter to attend to. You respond to him without any evidence. The servant disciple in front of the woodshed. You nodded. His voice was lowered even further, carrying a chill. It's you. It solved the dreamlessness of my people. It's me. The air instantly solidified. Why solve him? Shi's father's face was so dark it seemed water could drip from him. He bullies me, in a fit of anger, so I took care of him. Your tone was calm, as if talking about something trivial. He was certain he wouldn't dare make a move. Just as expected, Shaddad stared at you fiercely. He clenched his fists and sat down with a clenched clench. In the end, it can only be like a deflated ball. He forced out a sentence through clenched teeth. That really needs to be resolved. Immediately, his face instantly broke into a fake smile. He. The next day, Xuanji and Wu Chen returned. Shi's father immediately found Wu Chen. Su Zian truly has a mixed 5-element spiritual root. Are you sure you read that right? The Hall Master is absolutely true. I will investigate personally. He had also confirmed this with Yang Lingsha. His talent was utterly terrible. Shi's father's eyes turned cold. That's right. That kid Shemeng. He loves to bully those who are incompetent. He would go and bully Su Zian. It means this kid is. There must be some tremendous opportunity hiding there. A single miscellaneous forest root can cultivate to the 6th level of chi refining within a year. This is simply impossible. Thinking of this, a trace of greed flashed in Shabi's eyes. Immediately encounter Fakey. He headed straight for the inner gate of the Red Sky Fang. He was going to meet his patron, his ancestor, Elder Shixian, Kaixiao Ya, inside a courtyard. Ancestor, I have important matters to report. Shabi stood respectfully outside the courtyard. Inside the courtyard, the 2 golden core elders were sitting opposite each other. One was Kang Qiong, the chief elder of Kaixiao Fang. The other was the ancestor of Shiba, Shixian. Speaking, Shixian didn't even look up. A kid came out of the hall, 12 years old. The 5 elements strike the root of the bell. He was now at the 6th level of chi refining. As soon as he finished speaking, the 2 elders stopped playing chess at the same time. She suddenly looked at him. Are you talking about a kid named Su Zian? Master Sang Qiong spoke coldly. Elder, you know him too. Shiba was greatly astonished. A few days ago, at a banquet, he was the one who injured my beloved disciple. Sang Qiong gritted his teeth. At 18, one listens. He was overjoyed. Immediately add oil and thicken the oil. Ancestor, this time, a year ago, they even dealt with the loss of strength of our people. He definitely has a big secret. The 5 elements strike the root of the bell. 6 levels of chi refining. A flash of golden light appeared in Shixian's eyes. Let me find some time to tie him up. Search for a soul. Everything becomes clear. Why trouble us to do it yourself? A child fell from the sky. The holy circle is in the nest. Xiao Dao. 3 months later, Jiao Wei was heartbroken. I am Liu Yang. He will handle it for us. This is very good. Shixian nodded. That old man Ling Shu is not to be trifled with. Let the younger generation take action. It couldn't be more fitting. Meanwhile, Qingxian Peak, your residence. Zhao Haoran was like a stubborn insect. They'll follow you all day. At this moment, you finished practicing your full set of Galaxy Phantom swords. Sword energy crisscrossed and overflowed. Beautiful. Zhao Haoran cheered enthusiastically from the side. You put away your sword, looking at him. Ranzi, you can't keep going like this. I'm already at the 7th level of chi refining. You're only on the 2nd floor. How about that? I'll train you again with your spirit. Zhao Haoran heard this. His face turned pale. He shook his head wildly. Forget it. Forget it. As long as I can survive, that's enough. I don't want to suffer that sin a second time. Alright then, you sigh. I'll ask Master to help you find a quiet job at Lingji Pond. I'm just fine staying here. He was digging at the big rock beneath his feet, muttering quietly. You no longer care about him. Return to his room to cultivate. For you, with the aid of pills, reaching the 9th level of chi refining within a year is no problem. Once you leave, Zhao Haoran was completely idle. He went to watch Yi Xiao practice swordsmanship. Senior sister, his swordsmanship is amazing. Get lost. Don't bother me. Yi Xiao shouted angrily. Feeling embarrassed, Zhao Haoran had no choice but to wander alone on the whirlwind wind. Unknowingly, she was drawn to a wave of floral fragrance. Outside a cave halfway up the mountain, in the flower bed outside the cave, 100 flowers compete in beauty. All of it is spiritual essence. Zhao Haoran watched with delight. He reached out, wanting to pluck the most dazzling charm flower. Don't touch her. Scratching his head and giggling. Thanks for the reminder, senior sister. What's your name? My name is Yun Chang. Here, Is this your cave dwelling? Zhao Haoran tried to make conversation. A trace of helplessness flashed across Yun Chang's face. I'm just an outer disciple. How could you live here? I'm just like you. It was all out of necessity. Out of necessity. You were coerced. Zhao Haoran immediately became excited. Just you wait. My brother is a true disciple of Master Ling Shu. I sent him to save you. Sai, you misunderstood. Yun Chang hurriedly grabbed him. Her cheeks flushed slightly. He said softly, I'm from senior brother Wei Hong. Special constitution. You don't need to offend him for me. After speaking, he blushed deeply. He turned and ran into the cave dwelling. With a bang, the door slammed shut. Zhao Haoran stood there stunned. All that remained in his mind were the words coercion and a special constitution. He rushed back to your room like a sealed shut. Ziyan, quick, do me a favor, brother. Go and save people. After hearing his story, you frown. Ramsey, I think he was willing. If you really are coerced, he had already run away. But Zhao Haoran didn't believe it. They are stubbornly demanding you go. Passing by the door, Yi Shiyao, who was practicing swordsmanship, overheard your conversation. He snorted coldly. I know what a special constitution is. Speaking, your gaze turned cold, closing in one step. Yi Shiyao was startled. Reluctantly speaking, the master used to have one too. Just one. Vessels, just for use. Later, that woman took advantage of her master's absence. He escaped on his own. Zhao Haoran became even more anxious when he heard this. Miss Yun Chang is such a good person. How could I willingly be someone else's vessel? She pulls you along. He rushed toward the cave again. Miss Yun Chang, open the door. I brought people to save you. The cave dwelling door slowly opened. Yun Chang stood at the doorway. Behind her stood a pale-faced man. It was none other than Wei Hong. You misunderstood. I was willing. Yun Chang said, lowering his head. But you clearly said you had no choice. I was just saying it offhand. Yun Chang's face turned even redder. Wei Hong behind him finally couldn't hold back. I roar at you. 1 chi summoning slip per month. Fair trade. What does it have to do with you? He pulled Yun Chang into the cave dwelling. The door shut when it hits. Immediately after, Ban Hong's angry curse and Yun Chang's prison roar. Heart wailing. Heart wailing. That voice made Zhao Haoran's face flush red. He couldn't listen any longer, covering his ears and running away. Early the next morning, Zhao Haoran rushed into your room. His eyes were bloodshot. Ziyan, I want to continue spiritual training. She seemed to have figured it out. It was what made her work hard and strive for strength, not sympathy. It was the kind of inferiority I felt yesterday, and the most primal desires of the body. Take out a few snacks and give them to her. Very soon, painful screams came from Zhao Haoran's room. You stand guard outside the door. Don't let anyone disturb you. Yi Shiyao was drawn over by the shout. He asked curiously, what's wrong with her? Don't worry about it. You took the opportunity to ask. The book I gave you is Wine Cultivation True Body. Why did I get stuck after reaching the first level of Fragile Body? Yi Xiao's eyes lit up. I'll tell you. What are the benefits? You sneered. That trial will be in 2 months. Bought 1 show shares. Junior sister doesn't want me to look out for you. Only then did Yi Xiao speak. He wanted to speed up his cultivation. Medication must be combined. Otherwise, just refine it yourself. Even after several years, it is hard to find even an inch of cleansing of it. Once Zhao Haoran endured the pain of spirit refining, you set out for the treasure pavilion immediately. It's still that little Wang who welcomes you. I need a spiritual medicine for body refinement. Alright. Long Yuan fruit. Jade green body. Lei Mingzhu. Xiao Wang revealed a long string of names. Give me a portion of each. Senior. In fact, pills are more effective. For example, the bone refining pill. 1, 2. Alright, a total of 800 low-grade snacks. Your heart skipped a beat. This price will just drain all your snacks. The bone refining pill is a 3rd-grade pill. Snacks worth 600. Usually, only those who live in major repairs are willing to buy them. Xiao Wang explained. You paid the money with a heavy heart. Back to the residence. You start experimenting with zero drugs one by one. Just as expected, many expensive zero-drug drugs have a flat effect. Only a jade-like body remains. Thunder bamboo and cloud mist lotus have remarkable effects on physical strength. After refining all the zero medicines, your physical body realm has reached the 2nd level of the fragile body realm. Next, take that bone refining pill worth 600 snacks. His cultivation barely broke through to the 3rd level of the fragile body realm. He wanted to keep improving. Money must be burned. So, you went straight to the Lingji Hall. He found Mu Qing, Su Ziyan. He put on the inner disciple's clothes. Mu Qing approached you. He immediately felt a terrifying pressure. His expression changed. He quickly corrected himself. Congratulations, senior brother. You get straight to the point. From now on, I'll take over these few acres of spiritual land for you. Specially plant clouds and mist for me. Jade green form mingled with thunderous bamboo. Mu Qing counted on his fingers. His face turned green. Senior brother, that cost is 10 million contribution points. I'll figure out how to contribute points. Just focus on hitting the target. You should make the final decision directly. I'll give you 3,000 yuan a year as your wages. Whether to do it or not. Dry. Of course I do. Mu Qing quickly nodded. Wait until I finish this mess. Next spring, I'll give you a prize. The deal was finalized. You return to Lingshu Mansion. Now you face a new challenge. It must be before the start of next spring. Earn 10 million contribution points. 200 spirit stones per contribution per token. That was a full 50,000 spirit stones. Go find Master Lingshu Shenren to inquire. There was only one answer. Located within the inner gate. Want to quickly earn a large amount of snacks. The only way. It was the most dangerous ones to receive the sect's announcements. The rewards are also the most generous for the mission. You need snacks. Lots of snacks. So you stand in front of the Wendao Tower's notice cup. On it were densely packed scrolls. Each represents a significant amount of income. You've already set your sights on an escort mission. Reward 10,000 snacks. Tempting enough. What a pity. Several booster guys blocked the front like a wall. That pressure makes it hard to breathe. You can only watch helplessly as the scroll is torn away by a burly man. A surge of anger was brewing inside. Once they left, there aren't many other missions left to look good about. Just then, a new task caught everyone's attention. Eliminate the 100 Faces Demon of the Demonic Cultivators. Train 8 layers. Reward 8,000. The 100 Face Demon had already reached the 8th level. You can't handle it alone. How about we join forces? One reeked of alcohol. The middle-aged man with a wine gourd hanging from his waist shouted. A woman carrying a longbow immediately responded. Yes, you can. 8,010. Half per person. The opportunity has arrived. Can you add me to your list? You immediately stepped forward. The two turned their heads, seeing you, a 12 or 13-year-old boy. Everyone was thrown into chaos. That female cultivator was Chiu Shui, who sized you up a few times, laughing. Of course you can. The junior brother is already at the 7th level of chi refining at such a young age. Amazing. It's a top-grade spiritual route, right? He wants to curry favor with you, but you just smiled. No response. Let me be clear. The sinful ghost Guang Dao interrupted him. He emphasized with a serious expression. The sect rewarded 8,100, and after solving the Baisheng membrane, everything on him. The three of us, it must be divided equally. Agreed. You and Chiu Shui nodded at the same time, and seizing people's money. Those who know, know. Raging waves. Chi refining stage 7, with a hammer. Autumn waters. Chi refining 8th level. Completed. Zhu Ziyan. Chi refining stage 7. Stone sword. 3 people. Besieging a demonic cultivator at the 8th level of chi refining. Sounds like a good chance of winning. So you took on the mission. The horse didn't stop moving, heading straight for the Tsungyan mountains to the south. This is a no man's land. The spiritual energy was sparse. Bandits spread everywhere. There were also some mortals who had fled from disaster. The 100-faced demon cultivates by devouring the souls of these people. Senior brother Guang Tao. Why didn't he go to the mortal world and make a big deal out of it? You can't help but ask. Hey. Guang Tao laughed. He will definitely find us when he returns. Chiu Shui frowned. At the same time, he was at the 8th level of chi refining. He knew very well how sharp his spiritual sense was at this realm. So what should I do? Guang Dao asked. I can set up an invisibility formation at the cave entrance, shielding the breath. Chiu Shui looked at you all. However, snacks arranged in the formation. You have to split the bill with me. Of course, you're the first to agree. Guang Dao nodded as well. Immediately after, Chiu Shui took out a dozen snacks. Fingers fluttered and flew around. He cast several seals. A buzzing sound. A light curtain enveloped the three of you. From the outside, there is nothing here. A day passed. There was not a single movement. The intelligence can't be wrong, right? Guang Tao began to lose patience. Wait a little longer. Chiu Shui said. Another batch of snacks was added. Formations are such things. It's just a money-burning thing. That's it. Another 2 days passed. You've already used up over 100 pieces of snacks. Finally, on the night of the 3rd day, you, the lookout, noticed the commotion. You immediately woke up the other two. Under the moonlight, a black-robed figure wearing a ghost face mask was walking toward the cave residence. The evil aura on him could be smelled from afar. It's the image mask. He was holding a rope in his hand. Behind him were 6 sallow and thin mortals. There was also a decorated figure wearing the brown door attire. Only chi refining level 3. His breath was languid and dragged to the ground, leaving a long mark. You see this scene. His anger flared up immediately. Simply put, let's go together. Solve it. You instantly want to rush out. However, Guang Dao held you down tightly. Don't be impulsive. He would act once he entered the cave dwelling. Caught a turtle in a jar. What if he runs away? He whispered a warning to you. Just then, that Baixiang massage seemed to sense something. Stop in your tracks. He sniffed the air. Beneath the mask, a strange curve appeared at the corner of his mouth. He didn't think much of it. He squeezed open the stone door of the cave dwelling. He dragged the sacrificial bottles inside. After a while, you and Guang Tao quietly followed along. Chiu Shui originally intended to shoot a surprise attack outside, but I found the cave winding around. You simply can't find the target, so I had no choice but to follow him in. Who would have thought that as soon as the autumn waters entered the cave, the stone gate behind him rumbled. He closed it himself. Not. A cold, strange laugh echoed through the cave dwelling. The next second, the entire cave residence was filled with golden light. Countless hidden formation patterns, lighting up from the ground and walls, completely enveloping you. A wave of icy chill instantly invaded his body. You feel your spiritual power and spirit were all rapidly drawn away by the golden light. This is the soul training array. He transformed the entire cave dwelling into a formation. Hurry up and do it. Chiu Shui was the first to react. There was a trace of fear in his voice. If it drags on any longer, all three of you will be drained dry. You and Guang Tao also realize things are bad. He immediately summoned spiritual energy. He charged toward the shadow. The 100-faced demon finally turned around. A short pen appeared in his hand. His figure was as fast as a ghostly shadow, traveling through golden light. Yes, a cold gleam grazed your neck. It brought out a string of golden points of light. If your physical body weren't strong enough, at that moment, your head has already moved. Raging waves. Be careful. Chiu Shui's powerful divine sense. I anticipated his move. Loudly reminded. Before he finished speaking, the 100 elephants demon had already flashed behind Guang Tao. Guang Tao was reminded. He spun around and swung his hammer fiercely. The 100 elephants demon leaned back strangely, dodging the attack like a brow bone. A figure flashed by. He charged straight at Chiu Shui. He knew. Chiu Shui's eyes are the most troublesome. Chiu Shui excels at long-range shooting. Being approached was a sitting duck. He locked onto the opponent with his divine sense, but her body couldn't keep up. He could only turn and run. In the blink of an eye, Chiu Shui was forced to stand before the tightly closed stone door. There is nowhere left to retreat. Plop. That sharp, poisonous short pen ruthlessly pierced his back. Now, you freeze the moment you catch his attack. A sword aura slashed out horizontally. Baixiang was forced to pull out the short pen. The steel spirit on the meter instantly lit up. The sword energy slashed above. It just happened to break through his defense. I couldn't hurt him. Your sword intent is still a bit lacking. And awaited death. Guang Tao roared as he charged forward. The saw hammer slammed down with the sound of wind. Baixiang membrane doubled double arm cross-arm hard resistance. He was forced to retreat several steps, equally unscathed. Just then, Qiu Shui endured the intense pain. He pulled a feathered sword from his sword pouch. He unleashed all his spiritual power in a backhand. He suddenly pierced into the lower back of Bai Xiong membrane, almost the same spot where he himself was stabbed. Bai Xiong membrane is painful. Endure the hammer that crashes into his shoulder from the raging waves. Break through your encirclement with all your might. He stood at a distance. Both hands were strangled and severed. It accelerated the operation of the formation. Those mortals dragged in. His face instantly turned from pale to purple, then changed from purple to black. The light in his eyes quickly faded. He became a walking corpse. No, it is not allowed. His spiritual power was almost completely blown away. Huang Dao was panting heavily. He was already starting to lose his balance. You take a deep breath. I couldn't care about it anymore. Galaxy Phantom Sword. Xingyu. You only feel the changes. The Qiu Shui sword instantly split into more than 60 strands of sword energy. It covered the area where Haiku Sangmo was like a torrential downpour. Let it have nowhere to escape. The 100-phase mold could only stop activating the formation. Once again, he raised the protective steel to block the attack. At that very moment, Qiu Shui closed her eyes. He drew his longbow. His powerful divine sense firmly locked onto the trigger for the 100-phase membrane. Whoosh! Rain sword pierces the sky. At the moment the Baixiang membrane's protective steel was weakened to its weakest by GNU. It pierced precisely through his chest. As the multi-phase membrane collapses, the golden light filling the sky gradually faded away. It was just those mortals and that third-level chi refinement. There was no sign of life left by now. You just breathed a sigh of relief, thinking it was all over. But no one expected this. Huang Dao standing beside Qiu Shui. But it gave you a huge surprise. He swung the saw hammer in his hand fiercely, taking advantage of the autumn waters to channel energy and heal wounds. Completely unprepared, a hammer struck the back of his head. A muffled boom. The raging waves of the saw hammer slammed heavily against Qiu Shui's unguarded head. He didn't even have time to react, and immediately lost all hope of life. What are you doing? Your mind buzzed. He immediately questioned him. What are you doing? A twisted, wicked smile appeared on Huang Dao's face. He was injured. Deal with him. We can lose one person to share the reward. It's simple, isn't that so? He added slowly. The Qianquan bag of Baixiangmo is yours. Take the Qinquan pouch from the Baixiang mask. You see, he immediately rushed over, as if afraid that he might snatch the benefits away. You rushed to the remnants of the Baixiang membrane, just bending down. Phew. The raging waves behind him swung their giant hammer again, with the sound of something breaking through the air. Slam hard into your back. Boom. Another loud crash. The entire cave shook. You flew out like a tattered sack, lying on the ground, motionless. All vitality was cut off. Jie. Huang Dao let out a triumphant strange laugh. He first collected hundreds of masks. Then I walked toward you. Foolish people. So what if it's a top-grade spiritual root? Still lost to me. He mocked. He reached out to reach for the Qinquan belt at your waist. However, his fingers just touched your bag. A cold sword aura, erupting from within you without warning. It instantly froze through his chest, pretending to be lifeless. Huang Dao stared in disbelief, eyes wide open. A burst of golden light shot out. You leap up from the ground, unharmed. That hammer, it couldn't even break through your fragile body. Triple physical defense. The autumn water sword flashed coldly, piercing straight through the raging waves. Huang Dao was wounded by the sword energy of Xingni. His heart and lungs felt as if frozen solid. Even his swing of the hammer was weaker by a third. And so on. He forced a smile. You took a beating from me. The injuries aren't minor either. We'll stop here. How about it? You answered him with your actions. There was only coldness in his eyes. To such shameless people who stab someone in the back, saying even one more word is a waste. The sword light was icy and chilling. The offensive did not weaken. Huang Dao was already seriously injured. They simply couldn't resist. Within a few moves, you sealed his throat with a single sword strike. Looking at the three remains inside the cave, you sigh softly. Cooperate for mutual benefit. It recorded more than 200 types of formation lists and materials. There was also an incomplete copy of the Shadow Division of the Secretary on Movement Techniques, and in Qiu Shui's bag, there is also a fragmentary, corrupt god chapter. This is precisely the source of its powerful divine power. You didn't stay long. Cut off the heads of the 100 demons. He immediately returned to his sect to report. 8,000 spirit stones in hand, plus the 2,000 captured items. You now have 10,000 spirit stones. But that was not enough. Returning to Lingshu Mansion, you immediately take out the Nameless Dao Scroll, the Path of the Myriad Battle Arrays, Shadow Department, chapter on the loss of spirit. All incomplete. An incomplete Secretary of Cultivation Methods. Under the evolution of the Nameless Dao Scroll, everything became a flawless version. You instantly mastered the arrangement methods for more than 200 formations. A top-tier secluded divine technique. There are also secret techniques that can infinitely enhance divine sense. But you still lack money. Recalling the dangers of this mission, you still feel uneasy. If it weren't for his tough body, you have fallen. You don't want to take such risks anymore. You look at the path of the 10,000 arrays on the table. A thought popped into my mind. Selling formation diagrams. You copied down more than 200 array diagrams individually. He headed straight for Shenbao Ji. Xiao Wang, what is the price of the mountain protecting array diagram? You ask. Xiao Wang saw you. He immediately greeted him with a smile. Senior Brother Su, a high-grade formation diagram. The uniform rack costs 200 sha each. You ask again. Mother and child double kill is a real hit. Mid-grade formation diagram. 100 sha. After checking the prices, you have a clear mind. He turned and left. At the junction of the inner and outer gates, there was a way for disciples to set up their own stalls. You found an empty seat. Put up a sign. Specialized in formation diagrams. Then you sit cross-legged. Begin cultivation. For 3 consecutive days. Not a single customer. You're not in a hurry. If it can't be sold, then treat it as cultivation. No loss. disciples. Finally, day 4, an outer disciple wearing the attire of the law-suppressing lineage stopped in front of your soup table. Senior brother, what kind of suppression technique do you have? Give him the directory of Wanjin Chulu. His eyes lit up. I want Yinji Town, and sent him to the garrison. How many snacks are there in total? 200. So cheap, he exclaimed. These 3 items cost at least 300 at the treasure pavilion. He paid, inspected the goods. After confirming everything was correct, face closed, excitement unfolded. Senior brother, your price is really fair. I'll help you promote it when I get back. Our brothers from the Shenfa lineage will definitely be eager to buy it. After speaking, he left with countless gratitude. Once he left, you took out paper and pen again. He copied those 3 formation diagrams into a new copy. For you, this is the business of a 5th-tier university. From that time onward, you set up a stall during the day. At night, he cultivated the true body of wine refining and coation heaven. Life was quite peaceful. 2 months later, your stall suddenly exploded. 7 sand formation, give me a portion. I want a protective formation. Is there still a forest formation blueprint? Tomorrow is the annual autumn exam. The disciples of that sect were frantically buying life-saving gadgets. Other stalls had long since sold out and closed up. Only here do you have ample supply. Line up. One by one, they arrived. Your hand is about to break from overtaking the road. After a day, you earned a full 6,000 snacks, plus the previous ones. A total of 8,000 in total. Far from your goals. Still missing 32,000. It seems her last hope could only rest on this autumn breakup. Evening. Your master, Master Lingshu, rarely returns. The 3 master and disciples ate heartily from the meat. After the 9-legged meal was full, Lingshu looked at you. His expression was grave. Xian, tomorrow's autumn encirclement is a big mouth. Take good care of Shiyao. Master, rest assured. Also, he took out an ancient shield. This is a top-grade spiritual treasure. Eat sheep shield. Keep it safe. Remember, survival is the most important thing. The rankings are all inflated. Only by staying alive can you have a chance. And the upper grade was assigned to oversee the protection. The power of this thing is more than 10 times that of spiritual energy. With him, you're almost invincible in the chi refining stage. Master is truly biased. Yi Shiyao pouted beside her. His eyes were full of envy. You ignored him. He quickly refined Kai Yang Dun. At the same time, you quietly practiced Tibetan Western techniques. He disguised his cultivation from chi refining 8th layer to chi refining 6th level. I heard about the demon beasts in the trial grounds. He specifically targets those with high cultivation. You must be fully prepared. The next day, the grand cultivation test officially began. All the disciples of Lian Chichi gathered outside a large canyon south of the 9 peaks. Spiritual beings swirled within the canyon. Divine force cannot be penetrated. Inside, countless demon beasts specialized in trials were raised. Netherwolf. Trial. Divided into batches. The first to go in, the 180 people stationed at the indoor gate were the 7 great cultivators. Their mission was to eliminate the strongest profound realm wolf king inside. Yuan Yi Shiyao, Wei Hong. The disciples leading Qing Xianfeng waited quietly above the canyon. Why don't you just sit cross-legged and meditate? Continue cultivating. 7 days later, the sounds of fighting in the canyon finally ceased. The Foundation Establishment 7 trial ended. 180 people were admitted. 175 people came out. 5 have fallen. You feel a surge of clarity in your heart. Even Foundation Establishment cultivators would fall inside. This trial probably won't be so simple. A Foundation Establishment cultivator, covered in wounds, shouted loudly. Report the work to the Judge Elder. The main disciple was Jiang Yunfan, beheading the Wolf King Shichu. Sui Wei Feng's disciple was Fang Zheng, and beheaded 3 Wolf Kings. In the end, Jiang Yunfan, the main connoisseur, he took first place with the most Xian-grade golden rivers. He was rewarded with a precious shattered core gold leaf. Now it's your turn to be the 7th disciple of Qi refining. Zhu Ji's 7th younger brother. Just talking about a fierce and similar shattered pill golden leaf. You start to wonder in your heart. This sect is way too stingy, using such defective products as a mark of attention. You don't understand. Beside it, Wei Hong fired with a kind of yunqi that annoyed you. Fierce and great fragmented pill gold leaves are also priceless treasures. Hard to encounter again. It could make the top players of Zhu Ji 7 fight tooth and nail for it. From what he said, this pill was just a defective product that had been discarded. The medicinal power was less than 10%. Alone, I still die among the masses. It's simply useless. Just then, the referee elder's voice echoed throughout the arena. Disciples of the Chichi cultivator, penetrating to the bone. At his command, over 1,000 people surged into Sheer Valley like the wind. Like ants descending a mountain. There are a few awesome guys. It was obvious he was above the 9th level of Qi refining. He just stepped on the flying sword and passed through. One of them. He was the son of Chief Elder Kai Xiaoya, Lu Yong. That kid looked cold. Stepping on a flying sword, he was still holding Qing Wan, whom you had just beaten. Behind them, he was accompanied by 2 followers at the 9th level of Qi refining. What's strange is, these 4 didn't even look at the demon beast in the drum. His eyes were fixed on your Qing whirlwind camp. Qing Wan's gaze swept back and forth. Finally, I locked onto you in the crowd. There. He pointed at you. The voice was sharp. The next second, 4 paths revealed a light. Straight at you. As soon as you enter the canyon, those nether wolves looked as if they'd seen a ghost, scattering in all directions and fleeing. After all, they are merely livestock raised by the sect. When the time comes, it must be dealt with. Senior brother, run slower. Wait for me. Yi Shiyao shouted at the top of her lungs from behind. But you have no time to pay attention to him. For ranking, you attack wolves whenever you see them, flying at high speed. Suddenly, a voice that doesn't go to your bones comes through. Zhu Xian, you suddenly stopped. Looking back, indeed, it is a clear evening. He clung to Lu Yang's arms like a bone on his brow. The flying sword beneath his feet hovered in midair, looking down at you from above. Heaven. 1 perfected artifact refining. 2 9th level artifact refining layers. On the ground, over 100 disciples of Kai Xiaoya quickly gathered around him, blocking you tightly. Yi Xiao saw the scene as soon as she saw it. Turn around and run. He didn't even dare say goodbye. Su Xian, I heard you have a mixed bell root of the 5 elements. He actually reached the 6th level of artifact refining. Liu Yang landed his flying sword in front of you, put on a false smile. Come here. Let me take a look for you. Is there a mistake? Of course. You use Tibetan Western techniques. He pressed his cultivation to the 6th level of artifact refinement. Watching him approach step by step, you step back step by step. His face was full of resistance. Don't worry. Liu Yang's smile grew even colder. Xiao Wan is definitely mine. But in the ring, you are the fair name of him. I won't make things difficult for you. The tone shifted. He seeks to exhaust the line of comparison. As long as you obediently hand over the opportunity from your background, I can consider it. I'll let you live. So that's how it is. This guy, it's because you're attracted to an opportunity that doesn't even exist. You pretend to nod obediently. Just when they think you're ready to give in. Run. The shadow was not pushed to its limit. Your figure instantly turns into a ghost, leaving only a trail of after images. Chase after him. Liu Yang's furious voice suddenly rang out behind him. However, even if they can encounter flying, all I can do is watch helplessly as your shadow disappears into the forest. Not long after, they just lost track of you. You run all the way. Crawl into a cave. This was originally the lair of the Netherwolves. Now you've kicked them all out. You don't set up the only formation at the cave entrance, and perform the formation of Qi. People stood in the formation. No one can see outside. That guy is only at the 6th level of Qi refining. Why are you running like a ghost? 2 Kaixia disciples at the 7th level of Qi refining came searching for them. Land flat near the entrance where you are hiding. Forget it. People have great opportunities. Even if you catch them, the benefits don't come to us. Another pragmatic guy said, there's a cave over there. It's as good as going in and dealing with a few wolves. Climb the rankings. Very good. The fish took the bait. When they step into the range of the aura formation, I saw it. It's the part you've already lifted. A flash of light appeared. The 2 didn't even have time to react. He was wounded on the spot. You quickly scavenged their belongings. Then he threw the debris outside the formation. It worked. Fresh bait. You guard the formation. His gaze was icy, but the idea is extremely bold. Using these 2 wreckage as bait. Bring over more Chixiaya disciples. Give me 1. Solve 1. 2 days passed over the world. The debris outside the cave had already piled up into a small hill. The strong atmosphere attracted quite a few netherwolves. You are like a patient fisherman. On one side, a fisherman is fishing. On one side, Jinglang. On Yellow Street, the shadowy wolf of the shadows. 20 were dealt with. Disciple of Kai Xiaoya. How many have been solved? You can't even be bothered to count. To avoid exposing his identity, you put on the mask of 100-phase model. Another 3 days passed. The stench of debris piles was everywhere. You're almost unable to stay any longer. Only then did you reluctantly withdraw. Over 300 gold knotted boxes. He should be able to rank among the top now. You gently tap the Qiankuan pouch. A bountiful harvest. More than half of it. All of it comes from those unlucky people. Meanwhile, senior brother, the person sent out, not a single one came back. They probably wouldn't. A cultivator at the 9th level of Qi refining. He whispered to Liu Yang. His tone was full of fear. One at the 6th level of Qi refining. What kind of trouble could it stir up? Liu Yang spoke firmly, but his expression had already turned several points grim. Now, the nether wolf in the canyon began to howl wildly. He himself was overwhelmed. How could this be reasonable? Why are so many people in this trial all using Iora needles? Liu Yang cursed under his breath. He was so angry he wanted to curse. Rumor has it that some bastard spread formation holes at low prices before the trial. Who are you mixing up? Senior brother, be careful. Just then, a peak nether wolf from Yellow Street lunged at him. Liu Yang was so frightened that he immediately mounted his flying arrow into the air. Immediately after, more than a dozen peak nether wolves of Huangjie surrounded from all directions. The scale of the wolf pack, it was simply not something the 3 of them could handle. The 2 followers quickly ran into Fakey. Only Qin Wan, who was responsible for collecting Jin He was stared at on the ground. Senior brother, save me. Qin Wan let out a desperate scream. Liu Yang glanced back. He glanced again at the dense crowd on the ground. A pack of wolves with green light shining from their eyes. His heart suddenly tightened. He shouted coldly, "Junior sister, hold on. I'll go find someone to save you." With that, he flew away without looking back. The Wolf King was drawn by Qin Wan's shout. A blood-red tongue dripped with saliva. He suddenly pounced. Sharp wolf teeth carved a long wound into his face. The intense pain made Qing Man scream in agony. But the wolf pack had already surrounded him completely. Just then, he took out a Tongzhong from his Qiankuan pouch. Spiritual power was poured in. Tongzhong's heart surged instantly, trapping him tightly. No matter how the wolf pack bit and shoved, none of them could break through the defense of this spiritual treasure. "We really don't care about junior sister Xiaowan anymore," one of the henchmen asked nervously. "I've long lost interest in him. It's not worth taking the risk for him. But his talent was so good. If Master Sangqiong blames him, what's the use of good talent?" Liu Yang interrupted him directly. "Does he have a father like me?" He immediately gave the order. "You two go to the exit and guard it. Snatch it for me." All the low-level disciples who came out, each person traded to form a river of gold. Go meet that Su Zian again. Compared to robbery, what he cared about more now, it's the epoch times on you. However, he encountered a long circle in the canyon. "I haven't even found your ghostly shadow." Instead, there was another stunning figure. It caught his attention. A girl dressed in the uniform of a master disciple. Alone, demonic in appearance. This junior sister. Liu Yang hovered before him. "If only you could walk with me. I can lend you a hand in the trial rankings." The girl's gaze turned cold. Instant out-of-body experiences are common. Leisurely scolding. If you refuse a toast, you will have to drink a penalty wine. Liu Yang's face darkened. The pressure of qi refining at the peak erupted violently. But the girl didn't refuse at all. Brilliant in the light. Break out in a cold sweat. What shocked him even more was, the girl's figure suddenly transformed into countless light and shadow. It was actually the complete Galaxy Phantom Sword. Liu Yang didn't dare to stall any longer. A full-force strike was unleashed. Who would have thought? This was enough to outshine the opinions of peers. Even the girl's protective steel couldn't be broken. Instead, After the girl received one piece, his aura suddenly surged. He also climbed to the peak of chi refining. What kind of dark magic did you use? Liu Yang was shocked. Immediately retreat. He frantically stuffed pills into his mouth. The girl would never give him a chance. Official affairs surged like tides. Red veins densely covered his eyes. It was as if his eyes were bloodshot with blood. You have to pay the price. The two fought fiercely, just as they were foolish. You seek to see your reputation quietly approaching. A ghost-faced mask. His entire body exudes an air of severity and killing. Ghost-faced man. That girl saw you. It was as if he had seen a savior. He was a disciple of Kai Xiaoya. Hurry up and make your move. During this period, the ghost-faced man specializes in cleaning up rumors of Kai Xiaoya disciples. It has already moved into the canyon. You glanced over. Two were at the peak of chi refining. This is not something you can get involved in. Hello, no hesitation. He turned and left, probably beyond the 20 obstacles. You stopped. He took out a bow and crossbow from Qiankuan Dai and bent his bow. Lay down your sword. The divine stone looked as if it were real, instantly locking onto Liu Yang's opportunity. Just as Liu Yang leapt high, the moment he prepared to unleash the Lingtian strike. Search. The sword's momentum sliced through the air. It landed a precise hit on Liu Yang's butt. Liu Yang let out a piercing, agonized scream. Looking back, it's you. His anger burned fiercely to the point of severe burning. Just 6th level of chi refining. You dare to ambush me too. Hatred instantly shifted. He abandoned the girl, rushing at you like a madman. A violent sword aura, from 20 zhong away, he slashed at him. Instantly shatters your protective steel energy. Chi refining reached the peak of perfection. Truly ridiculously strong. Even if your true cultivation is real, he had already reached the peak of the 8th level of chi refining. There was no chance of victory. Liu Yang reached his peak in an instant. Another sword strike. Gun. Your eyes strike quickly. He pulled out a life-saving treasure. It was Yang Dun, in front of the high-grade defensive spiritual treasure. His stormy attacks were like scratching an itch. A few sword strikes were struck. His spirit sword couldn't withstand the rebound force. It shattered with a roar. At that very moment, a steel sword froze through his chest from behind. It was that girl. Give it your all, with every ounce of strength. A fatal blow was delivered with a thrust. Then, he was also physically exhausted. He fell down. You put away your shield. Without hesitation, she took the Qiankuan pouch from Liu Yang's waist. You originally wanted to take advantage of that girl's as well, but looking at her pale face, in the end, he still couldn't bring himself to do it. You even showed unprecedented kindness. He took an oxygen pill out of Liu Yang's bag. He stuffed it into her mouth, still staying by her side, to guard against the Netherwolf's attack. Night fell. The girl woke up. The night in the canyon was pitch black and like foam. Only your campfire crackled. After she woke up, first, he cautiously checked himself and the Qiankuan pouch, found completely unharmed. Only then did he breathe a sigh of relief. Thank you for your oxygen nitrogen. He spoke softly. 3 snacks. You just finished refining a pill. There were faint signs of a breakthrough in cultivation. He didn't even look up at the quote. He didn't hesitate. They just toss you a bag filled with snacks. I'll give you 300. 300. Hello, please accept it without ceremony. Next, you start counting your own gold box. You actually have so many. The girl stared in shock at the mountain of gold boxes in front of you. The quantity is almost 300. You immediately put away the gold box on alert. The feeling of being thwarted by someone. It's really bad. I'll trade snacks with you. Is that okay? He sees you're interested. Immediately set the price. A gold box. 10 snacks. Your eyes lit up. This price. A huge win. But you immediately think of the sect's rewards. His expression immediately turned cold. This price. The snacks I have are worth 3,000 yuan. Worth 3,000 snacks. He couldn't even buy a single leftover pill waiting for the foundation pill. You think I don't understand reason? When I win first place, living in Keaton can be given to you. His words made you feel even more uneasy. 1 foundation stabilizing pill, plus 3,000 snacks. Enough, right? You stared at him coldly. You really want the title of number 1. He was silent for a moment. Finally, he revealed the truth. The leader of the trial. You can enter the Taishu secret realm to cultivate for a year. You've never even heard of this place. The time flow speed of the Taishu secret realm is 3 times that of the outside world. Inside for a year. Only 3 years have passed outside. He explained, I want to rely on this, and fled. Immediately after, he introduced himself. He revealed his secret. His name is Luo Ning, and was responsible for enfeffing disciples. Premium Lin Zhen, noticed by the second elder, but the chief elder wanted to force him to marry his own grandson. He refused. The chief elder threatened to make sure he wouldn't survive this year. You want to escape, leaving the secret realm of the Great Void. You frown. That place is the sect's forbidden ground, and your life essence is in the hands of the sect. Can you escape? I have a secret technique called Illusory Origin Secretary. It can reshape opportunities. Let the command token become invalid. There was a trace of despair in his eyes. 3,000 snacks are all I have. If you are unwilling, I had no choice. You pause in thought. Suddenly, an idea came to mind. How about this? You mention it. Help me deal with 2 people. After the matter is accomplished, Jinhe can give it to you. The 2 shameless chi refining 9th level experts at the exit. It must be eliminated. Yes, you can. For freedom. Luo Ning agreed immediately. Got a response. You immediately swallowed another pill. The medicinal power dissolves. The spiritual power in your dantian suddenly surged. A powerful aura swept out. You broke through. Luo Ning looked at you in shock. Chi refining 9 levels. He possessed a top-grade spiritual root. He only reached this level at 14. How old are you? This is simply absurd. Canyon exit. 2 Kai Xiaoya masters at the 9th level of chi refining. He was blocking the gaze of hundreds of disciples like a door god. Newcomer. The transaction turned into a golden river. Otherwise, my sword doesn't have eyes. One of them His gaze fell on you, who had just arrived here, destroying the body. Seeing that you only have cultivation at the 6th level, he looked utterly disdainful. You simply ignored him. Instead, he turned to face those hundreds. The disciple who dared not speak out shouted, "Let's all go together. Deal with these two bandits." The meridians and meridians are evenly divided. However, responding to you, all that remained was deathly silence. Those people all turned their heads away, pretending not to hear. "Kid, you asking for trouble." The two grand cultivators flew into a rage, riding a flying sword, charging at you. "Fut!" You spit at them. He took off running. The two immediately chased after him. You run all the way, lead them into the mountains and forests, forcing them to descend from altitude. One of them was gathering a fireball, ready to deliver a fatal blow to you. Your divine stone has long been locked in. The shadow does not activate. He dodged instantly. This movement technique. You are Su Xian. The two immediately understood. It was at that moment. Luo Ning's figure burst out from the aura formation. Seeing the light sweep across the sky, the two endured the blow head on. His protective strength shook violently. And you? He had already turned back. The true cultivation of the 9th level of chi refining erupted without reservation. Autumn waters splashed forth, combined with ghostly movements. The two didn't even have time to scream. He was immediately taken down on the spot. You immediately grabbed their Chinkun bag. Over 400 gold boxes. These two guys. Really hard to scrape. Give me these. That's enough. If you step forward, the gold box is for you. What about my pig eggs? You're still not at ease. If I break my word, you can go report me to the chief elder. At this point, you gave him most of the gold boxes. Outside the canyon exit, the elders had been waiting for a long time. Elder Tsangqiong, Ling Lang is likely to be the top player again this year. This time, we really have to celebrate. An elder looked utterly flattering. Ha ha ha, I am already at the back of Chixiaoya for a banquet. We look forward to your continued presence when the time comes. Master Tsangqiong's face was glowing red and looked around in all directions. It was as if victory was already within reach. After all, his son had reached the peak of chi refining. There were also two death warriors at the 9th level of chi refining following behind. How could he possibly lose? Very soon, 7 days were up. The trial ended. The formation was activated. Several hundred disciples emerged from the fish jar. The first to come out. Naturally, those lowly disciples were the ones who were of humble status. Nearly 1,000 people walked out of the canyon. But the more Master Tsangqiong looked, the more alarmed he became. Something's off. How come not a single one has encountered a flying one? His son loved to stand out in such situations. Senior brother Tsangqiong, why hasn't Ling Lang come out yet? Some elders also noticed the problem. Haha, the Shu family was still hunting demonic beasts. Delayed. Tsangqiong forced a smile and explained. At the same time, he quietly crushed a communication talisman. My son, Lu Yang, quickly leave the valley. However, another half hour passed. The rankings are almost out. Lu Yang still didn't show up. Suddenly, someone shouted, Elder Tsangqiong, something's off. Why are you disciples of Kai Xiaoya? Not a single one came out. That sound, like a bolt from the blue. Tsangqiong suddenly stood up. The divine stone swept wildly over the 1,000 disciples. Really, not a single disciple with Kai Xiaoya was left. Senior brother, the situation is grim. Another elder of Kai Xiaofang, Shi Xian, turned pale. The next second, the two no longer cared about the rules, transforming into two streaks of light. He rushed madly into the depths of the canyon. In the blink of an eye, Master Tsangqiong carried the remains of his son Lu Yang and flew out of the canyon. Only following behind was Elder Shi Xian. His face looked as grim as if he had lost a loved one. His storage leads the way, filled with hundreds of already rotten remains. The elders all kept quiet. No one dared to make a sound. Only the referee elder shouted at the top of his lungs. The trial of the 7 chi refining disciples has ended. The leader, Master of Feng, disciple Luo Ning, and 500 gold rivers. Reward with 1 egg. Second place, Su Xian, a disciple of Qing Xianfeng. Jin River is 450, and rewarded him with 10,000 spirit stones. You stepped forward. He claimed the reward of 10,000 spirit stones. But in those few seconds you stuffed the spirit stones into your storage pouch. That Luo Ning who accepted the award before you. The person was gone. Your heart skipped a beat, and suddenly sensed something was wrong. The divine stone instantly dove away. You immediately locked onto her presence. Without hesitation, he chased after her. As soon as the woman left the canyon, he was directly struck by the sword and flew toward the Taishu secret realm. Although you have reached the 9th level of chi refining, but he had no time to practice sword encounter flying. He could only push the shadow division to its limit. Stuck to the ground, I followed him tightly. Senior sister Luo Ning, have you forgotten something? You wear a kind smile. Give her a loud reminder below. Luo Ning looked down, seeing you relentlessly pursue. He replied coldly, Junior brother Su, I'll help you handle it. I've got you 3,000 snacks too. What more do you want? You promised me the strike pill. Your tone grew somber. I am the leader. Of course, the support pill belongs to me. He anticipated this sentence. He suddenly activated his flying sword. Flight altitude was raised, instantly out of your sword aura's attack range. You see, he immediately pulled a bow and arrows out of his storage pouch. He fired repeatedly at him in the sky. What a pity. Too far. Plus, he moves at high speed. All your arrows missed. You just watch helplessly as he flies into the Taishu secret realm. With his champion token, he easily passed through the protective formation. Wait until you reach the formation. Your token is completely useless. This cursed place. Only recognize the leader. Inside the formation, Ruoming landed safely. He looks back at you. On that stunningly beautiful face, a blatant pride flashed across his face. Junior brother Su, I'm heading to the sea now. Mountains and rivers meet again. See you again in the martial world. He even playfully winked at you. Immediately Immediately after, he walked to a stone tablet inscribed with ancient script. Fingertips fluttered. Spiritual power surged. He immediately activated the teleportation array. At the very last moment before his figure disappeared, he glanced back at you again. That look on her face, as if to say, what can you do to me to get beaten? Deeply imprinted in your mind. Phew. You often exhale a breath of stale air. That's the chicken pill booster. A perfectly intact high-grade chicken aid pill. Snacks worth a full 50,000 yuan. How could this be reasonable? You smashed your fist hard against the righteous law's barrier. The huge counterforce pushes you several steps. This cultivation world. Indeed, the people's hearts are not lost. You dare to sigh. He turned and returned to his residence. However, this time, it's not like I'm losing all my capital. Just cleaning up those foolish people who eat their teeth. You managed to get quite a few secret techniques and snacks. There were also a few decent quality components. You took a good look. He was carrying him now. Not too much, not too little. Exactly 50,000 snacks. Just as you were struggling with whether you should keep spending money to cultivate the body refining elixirs. And when you use that money to buy a support list, Yi Shiye's voice sounded outside the door. Senior brother, master is looking for you. You opened the door. Yi Shiye's face stretched out sternly. He glared at you fiercely. Why can't I find you in the canyon? You're the one who's better. He took second place. You just don't care about my safety at all, huh? He poured out all the grievances he suffered in the canyon with a loud slap. But you completely ignored him. He stopped and walked toward the main hall. What a joke. Back when you were besieged, he turned and ran. You saw it clearly. They arrived at the main hall. Master Ling Shu was leisurely sipping tea. When he sees you, he loves you. His face immediately lit up with a kind smile. A good disciple. Sit down. Come on. Tell me, how did you manage to get so many gold boxes in the canyon? You found a seat to sit down. Then, without changing his expression, he started making things up. He packaged himself as a lucky and crude king. As for cleaning up the Kai Xiaoya disciples, you didn't mention a single word. That's what I mean. The fall of Kai Xiaoya disciples. It has nothing to do with you anymore. Lin Shu asked tentatively. I don't have that kind of ability. You look completely innocent. I've heard of it. There was a woman wearing a ghost face mask, chasing Kai Xiaoya everywhere. The disciple guessed. She was the champion of this year. If it is peaceful, your answer is flawless. Lin Shu nodded. He didn't press further. Meanwhile, Kai Xiaoya, this is now the busiest place in the entire sect. A group of elders who just watched the spectacle without complaint about the big boss, and are gathered here.